Welcome back from LA, Lucy. Big trip for you all the way from San Francisco.
45 minutes. Mate.
Yo, wow. How do you
down.
manage? You got that melatonin going, adjust to the time zones?
I take the neck pillow. I've got the little foot hammock.
See.
No, it's genuinely, I'm at the point now where because I moved, it takes longer for me to get to the airport than it takes for my actual
100%.
flight.
Absolutely.
But it's good. I was there. Played Battlefield. Jake and I hung out a bunch. We missed you.
I know. I would have loved to have been there. Sadly, not possible.
Mm-hmm.
But we will talk about the Battlefield event.
We shall.
Before
but also,
that, though,
we should kind of set up that this is going to be basically the most Frankenstein episode of the show that we have done, because this trip kind of came in. So Jake and I did our impressions with Bruce Greene, lovely Bruce Greene, formerly of Funhouse, and we also chat to Abubakar Salim about Dead Take. Jake's not here for the majority of this part of the episode, but he does crop up in other parts because he's having a nice little weekend away. However, it does mean that we get to bring in a new person to hang out with.
Upgraded talent.
Oh, I don't know.
This here, ladies and gentlemen, Force Gaming. I don't know how many people. I'm going to guess that many people who watch my channel also watch you.
I think
because I watch you.
I think you can see sometimes in the YouTube back end, they'll be like, your viewers also watch, and SkillUp shows up in that tab for me. So I'm assuming it works both ways.
For Force, yeah, for sure. But Force, for anyone that doesn't know, Force is a content creator that I've been watching for literally years now. I think you kind of blew up with Overwatch back in the day, right? Was that like your breakthrough?
Yeah, that was definitely a big, I started my channel with StarCraft and Diablo, and then kind of was kind of doing a little bit of everything, but then I got a big bump during the Overwatch days.
Of course, I remember that. Yep.
Yeah, my channel's gone through a lot of changes.
Of course, yeah. That's when I sort of started seeing you, but I wasn't playing Overwatch that seriously. I was just kind of aware of you. It's when you transitioned to more general coverage that I've started tuning in, and every upload I'm like, yeah, new Force, let's go.
Oh man.
But Force basically just talks about games. That's it. No kind of drama on top of that, no bullshit, just very thorough, really plays them properly, puts lots of hours into them, and just has very level-headed, reasonable takes, good insight. When I really want to know, okay, what is a game actually like? I go to your channel. For real, I genuinely do, because I think you kind of just show it in such a, an easily digested way that obviously has your own opinion, but also allows the viewer to come to their own conclusions about something, whereas many reviewers, myself included, we're very much trying to say, here's what I think, here's what I think, and I think you leave a lot of space to be able to well, here's what I think, but also here's just the thing. You make up your own mind. So I really love watching your content. I have for years, and I'm very glad to have you joining us today. So
happy to be here. Appreciate it. I was going to say something else, but you've pretty much said everything about me there's to say, so I appreciate it.
yeah, for sure. So if anyone hasn't checked out Force yet, and you watch us, I think you're going to like his speed of content. I think you're going to get a kick out of it. But how you been, man? What's happening? So where are you based, by the way? Tell me.
I'm up in New England, which is it's the Massachusetts, Maine, New Hampshire area.
Gets cold around there, I get.
That's
I
as
reckon.
much as I'll dox myself here in this video. But no, it's not cold. I mean, we get up in the I only know Fahrenheit's. It gets warm.
I've been here long enough that I basically can sort
of
do
translate?
40 degrees Celsius is 100 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, right.
And 69 is just a nice temperature.
Yes.
It's about 20.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. It's warm enough to surf. So that's when I'm not gaming, that's what I'm doing. So
is that really? You're like one of those guys that goes outside and stuff. Wow.
Yeah. Well, hey, just if it weren't for my wife, I probably wouldn't. But she's managed to make me do things. So
that's great.
It's good. It's good for me, I think.
Beautiful. And so how long ago did you start your channel? You said you started to StarCraft days? When
2010, summer 2010.
Wow.
So it's been a solid 15 years coming up. Yeah. Time flies, dude. I'll tell you.
But how do you feel like the game has changed over 15 years? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I mean, it's it's a whole different ecosystem. Obviously, it was really interesting back in the day because I just remember I mean, I think Google started doing the ad share program. I think it was like a year before I started my channel. I think it was like 2009, roughly. But you know, I just remember watching like StarCraft commentary videos. It was Husky and HD StarCraft were two of the big guys back in the scene then. And I was like, you know what? I'm excited about this game. Let me just make some videos of my own and just kind of put it out there. And it worked. Like I got some views, and then Machinima contacted me with a lifetime contract that I could never get out of, and they never paid me for. But that aside, no, it's definitely, things have changed a lot. I mean, just personally, like I said, my channel's changed so much. What I do, what I focus on. Used to do strategy guides, and then I did a lot of Let's Plays. I have like a Skyrim Let's Play and whole bunch of other stuff, and then I kind of transitioned into commentary, and then I started doing reviews. And it's kind of the cool thing about this job. It's like you just do whatever you want. You kind of do whatever you want and see what sticks. You know,
I think it's a natural progression though, because like I speak to a few sort of like smaller YouTubers who are like kind of coming up and whatever, and I'm like, the advice that I always give is it's really good to cut your teeth on that kind of guides focused coverage, because you align to a game and you learn how the back end, like the gizzards of YouTube work, and you learn about like, you know, the algorithm and what's big and like tapping into social media. Like it gives you a kind of framework from like around which to build, you know? And then after that, I'm like, once you've got that under your belt, it's like, then you can kind of really decide I want to do with that. And like, do you want to be commentary and do you want to be Let's Play and whatever else? But definitely aligning yourself to that guidey focused content. I think a lot of us have come up that way.
Oh yeah,
and it's been and it's a really great path. It's like the McDonald's of like the YouTube, where like everyone does it as their starting job, and then you kind of move into other things.
I mean, I've always thought too, like through the years, I think one of the best way, if you're like starting a channel from scratch, you've never been into YouTube, just like picking a game that you like that's popular and making a dedicated channel to that is a great way to start from scratch. Because you get these, especially with games that get big, you get these dedicated fan bases that just care about this game and they just want to follow creators who are covering this game and know what they're talking about. And you're not really going to get that with like a general game, which is like what I am nowadays. I'm a general games commentator, so I'm not going to know as much about whatever Genshin Impact or something, you know what I mean? As opposed to those people who put up 40 videos a day about it. So it's just a great way to start. And especially, I mean, if you're passionate about it, if it's something you love too, if it's a game that you're really into, that's the best you could ask for, really. So
and it's also nice being able to step off from it, because everyone I know who plays a game, who covers a game exclusively long term, they just hate the game.
They just hate it. I mean, you can only, things get old, right? Novelty is the key. So that's it. I can't believe people I mean, God bless them, they're making millions, but the people still playing Fortnite today, I'm like, wow, you're on that grind, man. I really respect it.
For sure. 100%.
I mean, I'm trying to think, like even Overwatch, there were people that I would follow, and even back, kind of at the start of Overwatch 2, I was like, I don't know how you're still.
Oh, I know, absolutely.
It's like Overwatch is, we're almost 10 years at this point.
Crazy.
And I love that game.
It's dedication, but I'm especially the case. It used to be the case, I think, that I would I could play a game for months or a year plus, but nowadays I like the variety. So
Are there any games that you play, like you go to, like when you're not working on something, you're like, I always boot up Civilization or some shit to unwind at the end of the day? Like, is there one of those games?
It's changed over the years. Like for a while, I was just really, my casual chill game was some hack and slash ARPG, like a Diablo or Path of Exile. I've played like almost 400 hours of Path of Exile 2 right now. At this point, I mean, that game is just so easy to go in and just click and watch things explode and collect your dopamine and your loot. But recently, after that, I've been really into survival games. It's kind of my like chill time, relax.
Like which ones in particular?
I really like Enshrouded. Really, really actually dig it. It's already in a great spot, and it seems like it just keeps getting better. Like I can't even believe it's not even 1.0, because it's like a solid 100 hours of like good exploration entertainment.
I was gonna say, I only heard from Ralph shouting its praises.
It's great.
I definitely enjoyed it, but it just felt at that point it was kind of, I don't know, it just felt a bit stretched out, and I wondered how much that's evolved since then, which is kind of natural for a game in early access, like obviously for sure. So I do look forward to returning to it to see how they've evolved that.
Yeah, well, it's
really
only going to be a bigger game than what you're because they keep adding biomes.
I think it was that was I guess part of it. I was like, okay, so I'm getting into new biomes, but I'm not really doing anything different within those biomes.
Sure. Yeah,
that was the part I'm like, how are you changing this up for me? And I'm sure that there's new game systems as well that have deepened that.
They have, they've added a lot, and they've added a lot of like small cute things too. Like there's now musical instruments you can play. And it'll sync up with your mates who play a different instrument next to you. Beautiful. And that just, I think what I really like about it in Shrouded is that it does a good job of blending like just the traditional survival game loop with feeling like an exploration adventure more than I feel like I get. Yeah. Like it's got that RPG like tint to it that I
it's a curated map. It's not, they're not map seeds.
It's not procedural generated map. It's the same for everybody. Loot's in the same spots, POIs, everything. And I don't know. I'm just hats off to the guys at Keen Games because I'm genuinely every time I go back to the game, I'm like, damn, this is indie done right. Like they really knocked this out of the park, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, right. Cool. All right. Well, I feel like it might be a good time to start the Frankenstein madness of stitching this show together.
Please stick with us as we travel through this crazy show. So we'll kick off with. As Ralph mentioned, Jake and I went to Los Angeles to play Battlefield 6. So all in, across the 2 days, I would say we maybe got like 6 to 8 hours in. Nice. And this is the content that is going to be in the open beta starting next weekend. If you tuned in to watch people on Twitch and got the drop, and then you can start early. We also get to speak to Byron Beede and Vince Zampella. So basically... Mr. Battlefield and Mr. Battlefield.
Yep.
We have some questions about, how the game is being received. Is Battlefield back? The question on everyone's lips. And, what they learned from 2042, that infamous 100 million player number, and then more. So roll the tape.
How you guys doing? Thanks for being here. Thanks for talking to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you. It always jams people up when I just go into it.
So I answered that you asked me how I was and then you continued. So I was...
No, you're fine. Okay. I'm not good at this.
I'm going to go back and answer.
Okay.
Good, thanks.
Great. All right. We're off to a good start. So at the time of recording this, the big initial campaign reveal is out, the big exciting trailer. You've seen the initial first response to that. How are you guys feeling about that? And now seeing people get their hands on the game, other than labs.
Well, we've been sequestered here answering questions, so we haven't gotten to see people actually enjoying the game. So that will be next after this. But I'm assuming, and you tell me if that I'm right. Just tell me that I'm right.
Yeah.
That people are loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Like the energy out there in the reveal was amazing, like off the charts, better than we could have expected. Like
a lot of hoots, a lot of hollers.
Oh, yeah.
And only half of those were me. Like.
But in terms of people getting their hands on it, how has that been? Like, essentially you're starting to unleash it to the wolves a little bit, the baby that you guys have been working on for God knows how long.
This for us, I think this is the super fun part. We've been working on this game for a long time, and we come to this like Battlefield it's a pretty iconic franchise. Like it's got a long history. It has huge expectations for it. And so we've brought in 4 studios who've literally put their heart and soul into this game. And we put it through so much testing through Battlefield Labs. Like we think we've got something really, really special. And so for us, there's nothing but excitement about today of like, man, I can't wait for people to see this, to play it for themselves.
I mean, coming off, obviously last release is 2042, maybe it tried a lot. It threw a lot of things at the wall. Some things stuck with the bears and some things didn't. What are the key learnings that you and teams are taking from that title as good to 6?
I wasn't on Battlefield for 2042 launch. I took over after, so I'm not entirely sure what they did. We did go back and look, obviously, at the fan feedback and, the things that people were not excited about. So there's a lot of things that we, corrected. And we did, like work on testing a lot of those things, fixing it in 2042 to make sure we were doing the right thing before we got into labs and stuff. So, but Battlefield is a 2-decade-old franchise with some of the biggest, most iconic games. Like when Battlefield hits and does things right, it goes bonkers, right? So I think we look at the entire history of Battlefield, take all the most iconic things, and we say, like, this is the DNA. This is what Battlefield is. Those only in Battlefield moments are real. Like there's nothing that compares to those things. So that's what we want to break into what Battlefield 6 is. And being the spiritual successor to 3 and 4 is kind of how we look at it. And like, so taking all that and what would that next spiritual successor kind of look like? And that's where we started, and the teams all kind of came together, and we have people that have been on Battlefield for, since the beginning. And then we have a lot of new studios, a lot of new blood that come in and look at it in a different way. And, it's important. And, and this is what Byron really hammered home to me is like those Battlefield fans, they know that the core DNA has to be there. We have to get those large scale maps right. If you want to, talk about your philosophy there,
No, I would even call it an obsession for us. We've got guys like Tompen Anderson, who's our creative director. He's been here for 20 years, and it's in their bloodstream. Like, they know what makes a great Battlefield game, and we were relentless about that. Like, we constantly talk about our players, our core fans, the DNA, the classes, the combat, the destruction, all-out warfare. It's an obsession for us, and I think that also goes along with Battlefield Labs. It's like, man, we think we love it. We're having a blast playing it. Like, I can't stop, playing the play tests and stuff. I've never had more fun, but it's like, you got to put it in Battlefield Labs. Like, we wanted thousands and thousands of players to get their hands on it so we could see, like, do we have it right from every component of it. So for us, it's been awesome.
And I mean, Labs, that's kind of unprecedented, having that many players, that much feedback. And you just mentioned that it's been very instrumental in shaping the game. You gotta mention those leaks. Were they secretly kind of a good thing for you because you're getting a lot of Battlefield footage out there?
Or you're confident,
you're
I think you go into it knowing, right? Like that leaks are going to happen. You can't have that many people in.
Even with a watermark.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of it, some of it is obviously malicious, but a lot of it just isn't. It's just I'm really excited, so I just happen to tell my friend or my roommate or my, and they tell their friend, and things get out that way. And so it's not always malicious. It's just excitement. And so you kind of have to, understand that we knew going in there would be leaks, and you look at it and say, does the good outweigh the bad? And in this case, absolutely, right? Getting those hours of testing in that we just couldn't otherwise was invaluable to us in shaping this game and making sure we get that core right. So, it's a calculated risk, and I think it's paid off for us. I think the game is way better for it. And at the end of the day, we make games that are fun. That's what we wanted. So what serves that purpose best? And that is getting it in the hands of players and getting them to help us make it.
I do want to dig into you jumping on Battlefield specifically. Obviously you have a big history in the game world, the shooter history. What about Battlefield sticks out to you specifically? Why do you think it stands out from all the other shooters you've worked on? Obviously destruction, classes, but what is it for you?
It is destruction, it is classes, it is that only in Battlefield kind of moment where anything can happen. It's less, I don't want to say less structured in a bad way, right? But it is there's more controlled chaos, and we bring that through now even more with the destruction and how things happen. It's such a different way of playing through the level, reshaping the level kind of as you go. There's just something that you can't get in another game. In Battlefield, I've been playing it, since the beginning, right? It's always been alongside the Call of Duties, and we obviously looked at them when we were making Call of Duties, right? So it's been iconic in my entire career. So to be able to work on it now is just for me, really fun. It's a blessing to be able to kind of see the other side of it and do something that's a little unique and different. So
in terms of other shooters, do you guys look at things like Call of Duty as friendly competition? How do you approach that? Do you guys feel like you're giving people something different? How do you think about Call of Duty?
Yeah, I think they're different games, right? They offer different things. They're both shooters. They're both military. I get it. There's obviously a comparison, but they offer different things, different ways of playing. So I think they both exist. I'm glad they both exist. Obviously, maybe best. I don't know what. Byron also, we worked together on Call of Duty. I wouldn't have met this guy if it wasn't for that. So,
I think that's right. I've always thought Battlefield is one of the most unique IPs, I think, in first-person shooters, maybe all of gaming. Like the notion of the sandbox and the agency there's just nothing like it. I think a lot of first-person shooters, like, they pride themselves in the predictability and the map memorization and so forth.
Yeah.
And that's not Battlefield. Like Battlefield's about agency and creativity, and as Vince said, chaos. And so I think I'd like to think that we're bringing out that in all its glory with Battlefield 6 of just like, man, you've never seen Battlefield like this.
I mean, what is the launch package, so to speak, for Battlefield 6? You wouldn't mind talking us through what players can expect on day one?
So it one of the things that was important to us, the most important thing is all-out warfare. That's where everything starts for us. And so within all-out warfare, as we said, like we obsessed over the core combat. Like we built it from the ground up, and our team on core combat, they're maniacs. Like they've broken down the movement system, the gunplay, the animations, and added all the different features that we've always wanted to have. Like drag and revive is like a game changer.
It's noticeable right away.
Yes.
Like holy shit.
Yeah, and it's so, for me, and I'm sure for a lot of players, it's like, you love the notion of reviving and getting your teammates back in the fight, but when they're laying out there in the middle of crossfire, it's like it's a rough go. But with drag and revive, it's so much fun to just go up there, grab them, pull them to safety, get them back up. I even like in drag and revive where when you're revived, you're up and shooting on your back right away. And so it's that loop is just, I think they've perfected it. And so the combat, the destruction, the classes, and the all-out warfare. So Conquest, Breakthrough, and Rush are hallmarks of Battlefield. But we also added Escalation, which is a new all-out warfare mode, and that one is super fun. The construct of it is that there's multiple capture points at when the match starts, and then the match slowly whittles down to a more concentrated play space, and so the intensity just skyrockets as the match goes. So when we first started playtesting it, I think sometimes pretty early on this stuff is like, man, this is awesome. Like this is a blast. And so that rounds out the all-out warfare. But we also feel like the Battlefield DNA, it works in a lot of different ways. And so for us, domination, King of the Hill, squad deathmatch, team deathmatch, like playing it with destruction, with classes, with this combat system, it's super fun. Like I've had a blast playing domination. I keep going back to these memories of just like, man, we've got cap point B secured, and all of a sudden like the floor blows out beneath you, and it's just like you've just never experienced like those kind of modes like that before. So that's the multiplayer package, and then we're going to release 9 maps, and we've been pretty meticulous about the maps to make sure there's a mix of urban and nature maps. There's close quarters with large scale maps. We wanted to make sure that there's plenty of maps with jets and tanks and all the vehicles, bringing that all to bear. And so we're really happy with the map offering. And then on top of that, for the first time in a decade, we're bringing single player back, like a campaign story for players. So I think people are going to got a little bit of taste of that with the reveal trailer, but we wanted to bring back storytelling to Battlefield as well.
I mean, before we touch on single player stuff, we'd be remiss of me not to mention there was a report recently that said the internal numbers for Battlefield, you're targeting 100 million. Is there truth to that report? And you mentioned a lot of really fun, exciting things there. What do you think is the key differentiator that's going to pull people away from COD, pull people away from Fortnite, and get them into Battlefield?
I mean, I think those numbers come from leaks, which we don't comment on. So
unless they're good,
even when they're good, sometimes I know. What was the second question? We'll go back to that.
The differentiator to pull people away. I mean, because really, it's attention economy. It's like, what are you pulling people away from? You got a lot of exciting things, and do you think that's going to be enough to pull that many people?
Having played it, I do. I mean, I think we offer a different style of play. It is that all-out warfare, the destruction, the vehicles, that combination together. Like it really works.
Agree. For me, look, I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and I've always looked at Battlefield. To me, it's one of the coolest franchises in gaming. And so for us, it's like we wanted to just do it right. And if we do it right, like a lot of people will love playing it, And so, as I said, we've had a blast playing it. I think the creators out there right now, hopefully, are having a blast the same way we are. But I think our job was to do Battlefield right. And what happens next, I think Battlefield's a big, iconic franchise, and so that was job number one for us.
Build it and they will come.
Ideally, yeah.
I do want to talk about single player a little bit because that's like my bread and butter. I'd love to know kind of how things have been coming together, how you guys are putting together single player with the whole Ridgeline Games thing and how that went. So like what challenges did you face there? And now how is single player coming together?
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to get the guys from Motive who worked on the I'm drawing blank.
Dead Space.
Yeah, Dead Space remake.
Nice.
And they're fantastic.
Yeah.
Like they have done such an amazing job of picking up that mantle and running with it. And we're lucky to have them. Like that studio has been a godsend for us. So like it's coming along really well. It's, I don't know what else.
It's fun. For us, it's like we want to tell a Battlefield story. It's like big global stakes, like lots of big action and so forth. So
where do you start? Do you start like conflict first? Do you start like locations first? Like how do you even start coming up with a Battlefield story?
I mean, it's a lot of back and forth and, storytelling, ideas thrown around, shot down, argument, throwing things at each other.
A lot of it is gameplay. It's like what kind of gameplay circumstances do we want to create for players? I think it's like what fits with Battlefield. And so we want to make sure we get those right. But the story is important too. Like we want to develop characters in a universe where you're like, man, I want to see what happens next.
It's one thing that Battlefield hasn't really had.
Yeah.
Maybe Bad Company or something. Like there hasn't been a lot of like iconic characters. So we go to achieve some of that.
We've got 4 core studios working on this one big, huge, epic title. What does that balance look like? I mean, is there like one sole creative director vision and everyone else kind of, how does everything kind of funnel together to work cohesively?
So for me, we have ambition for Battlefield. Like we wanted to create a universe that our players thought was wildly entertaining, but true to the Battlefield DNA. And we felt like to do that, we gotta be all in on it. And so we're blessed that we have these 4 studios, putting their heart and soul into Battlefield. And so when we go across it, like you've got DICE, who I think is one of the greatest multiplayer developers in the world, Criterion, who's been long time on Battlefield, like they know this franchise in and out. Vince mentioned Motive, like great storytellers and single player. And then Ripple Effect, they hail from DICE. Like they've got the chops and the genes from Battlefield multiplayer. And so for me, it's the melting pot of all those different studios of 20-year veterans mixed with, fresh new blood and ideas. And so for me, I think players are going to see that we got the DNA right, but man, this game feels cutting edge and modern. I think we've struck the right mix.
And I mean, final question, we'll let you guys eat. Not a lot of time between now and October. Obviously, talking of getting creators and media hands-on, beta out into the public. Do you feel ready? And if you weren't feeling ready, is, any chance of delay, or is it just, hey, October, that's our date, we're sticking to it?
That's our day and we're sticking to it.
Yeah, we feel ready, and I think that speaks to Battlefield Labs. I mean, we've been playing testing this game for years internally, and the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who've helped us play test it online with Battlefield Labs and so forth. Like we put this game through the ringer, we've honed different parts of it. We've gotten tons of feedback. Like today was excitement for us of just like, man, I can't wait for people to play this. As I said, when we do play tests, all you hear is shouting and screaming and fun and laughter. It's just like it's a blast.
Mm-hmm. Remember, this is only the beginning. Like we're creating a Battlefield that we intend to service for many years. There's going to be a lot more coming. So like this is the launch point, and it's just going to keep getting better from year for us. So
looking forward to seeing it. Thanks, Byron. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
We'd love to talk after launch. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
So that was our. And we're back. God damn it! I was so tempted to do it. And that was all I could think of. And we're back. So that was our chat with Vince and Byron. Next up, as we mentioned, we've got Bruce Greene, who I actually kind of like that this worked out because I'm more of a Battlefield novice. Jake is plays a bunch of Battlefield, but doesn't live and breathe it. And Bruce has played every single Battlefield for the last 20 odd years and lives and breathes that series. And so kind of the perspectives from the 3 of us after all our time doing hands-on. So here's what we thought of it.
But first, a word from our sponsor.
Ah, shit. Yeah.
That. Lucy, don't you just love it when a classic comes back better than ever?
Yeah. I continually dress like I'm still a child in the 90s. So I do love it when things come back into fashion.
I did see you just stand up a moment ago, and yep, I believe you. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say I am dressed fully like a child today.
Here you go. No, but we are actually talking about this video sponsor, Raycon. Raycon has been a long-time supporter of the show. And for a long time now, they had their everyday earbuds, which had this design, the one that I'm holding up here now. And it was old, reliable. Everyone knew it and loved it. And I'll show it to you there on the camera. There it is. That's the classic Raycon design. They did a redesign recently for their everyday earbuds, which everyone liked. Don't get me wrong. But a lot of people still like the old design as well. So what they wanted was the old design, smaller form factor, etc., combined with the new features that you got in the update. And that's exactly what this version is. And this version is called, just so I get it right, and I'm not reading the name incorrectly, it's called the Everyday Earbuds Classic, right? And yeah, it's basically the old design, but now it does have active noise cancelling, and it still maintains 8 hours of playtime, 32 hours of battery life, that sort of classic comfort that, they actually stay in your ears and barely even notice that they're there. And the quality and the overall sound quality that you've come to expect at Raycon's famously reasonable price. All of that stays exactly the same, but it's the classic design now with the new stuff on board. Right. So
yeah,
I
got my lovely little rose gold pair here that never leaves my handbag. I take them with me everywhere I go.
Yep.
We've spoken about this on the podcast before. We both have weird ears. Mine are tiny. Stuff never really fits. However, look at us.
Look at us.
Little and large ears. No. And so my Raycons, I always have them with me. They never fall out. It is great. If I'm walking around, if I'm walking to work, if I'm commuting on BART. And yeah, and the battery life lasts so long that I'm never, rushing out of the house worrying, oh my God, did I charge them? Am I going to run out of battery? Am I going to have to listen to people's small talk on the train? No.
That thing where people just play their music through their phones on speaker.
I will not be that person.
No, I mean, you will never be that person thanks to Raycon, okay? You will never be judged like that. The other thing you might have seen as I lifted up, you can also buy cases for your case, like little designy things. There's different options. This is one of them here. But you can kind of just personalize it. It's a nice little touch. And yeah, so that is the Raycon Everyday Earbuds Classic. So if you want to grab a pair of Raycons for yourself, very easy to do that. And that also comes with free shipping, by the way. Any pair of Raycons you buy from their site comes with free shipping. You can go to buyraycon.com/friends to get 20% off the Everyday Earbuds Classic. That is 20% off when you visit buyraycon.com/friends. That's buyraycon.com/friends for 20% off plus free shipping on the new Everyday Earbuds Classic. Thank you very much to Raycon for sponsoring the video.
We're here with Bruce Greene at the Battlefield event.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, handshake.
The best.
Wow, that's real.
The best.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I got to shake your hand on camera because we did it earlier.
Yeah.
So now we have to prove that we did it.
Yes.
So.
We played a ton. We played a lot of this game for like 2 days. You did
Yeah.
a big stream as well.
Yeah.
So you have pretty big Battlefield experience. Where did you first start playing?
Yeah. So I started. I forgot to look this up. But Battlefield 1942, the first
Nice.
one.
Oh, cool.
Whenever that one came out, was it 2002, 3, whatever. I started. So I've been playing Battlefield for about 25 years. Literally never stopped. Played every single Battlefield mainline in the series. I played Hardline. Played all the other random
qualified.
ones.
Yeah, I was going to say when you drop Hardline in there, then that's what
I promise you, I played every single one. I played the Battlefield Heroes.
Oh my God,
which is terrible.
I forgot about that one.
Heroes
Wow,
is garbage.
yeah.
I played 1943. That's one.
I forgot about that.
Don't worry about that
wow.
one either. Just nix that one. I will say my favorite Battlefields, because people will ask, is Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1.
Oh, okay.
All right.
1 because
Yeah.
it was so immersive, and also World War I, and then 4 because of the Levolution. People always shit on that, but I loved it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I was going to say when we were pulling, so obviously Jake and I are also here as the friends per second contingent, but I feel like this is a nicer panel to round out Battlefield impressions because you have me who has played bits of 4, bits of 3, bits of 1, bits of 2042, but never really stuck with it. So I would be your Battlefield novice.
Okay.
Jake?
I'm like middle of the road. I played Battlefield. I started with Battlefield 2, and I've dabbled in every single one.
Okay.
But so top level thoughts for me personally. I think this is good. I think I had a lot of fun playing it. It felt to me kind of like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. They were like, okay, we know everybody loved that. Like, this is like the next generation crazier version of that.
Yeah,
am I off base with that?
No, not at all. 4 was, I think, the major jump because of Levolution. So what Levolution was on those consoles, what was it? Was it 360 at the time?
It was 360.
And I think
they were PS4.
I think they were moving to the next gen. And so Levolution was like their big, check it out. We're moving to PS4 and Xbox, whatever it was, 1 at the time. And so then that was and that Battlefield 4 had the worst launch in the world. It was weeks of being down.
The servers were
way worse than 2042 and all the other ones. But people don't remember that. So,
no, which I guess is good. It shows how good it was.
Right, because it eventually got good. Yeah.
I was going to say, we will put a picture in, Stu, we'll send you the picture, is that this event has been insane. You can't tell from this grey wall that we're standing in front of, but it's also very loud. They have a big building and a bunch of scaffolding there, and both Jake and I, as we walked in, went,
they're going to blow it up.
It's a big budget. They're going to blow up the building.
I wish that they had.
I wish that
would have been so cool.
Yeah, we're all just wishing for destruction.
The pile of dirt with the flag in it. That's my favorite part.
We got to get a picture
I didn't
of that.
see that.
It's just over there.
Oh, wow.
I have had a pretty good time. It's challenging, like as all Battlefields are, especially like getting back into it.
Of
like
course.
you run, you die, you run, you die, you run, you die. But I did find this one really accessible in terms of like how good the movement is and how good the aiming is. Like you're able to like be very fast, vault very easily, dodge, dive, roll, like jump from higher. Like that feels to me like one of the bigger game changers from this. Yeah,
so the movement feels very much like Battlefield 1 to me. 1 was a little slower, kind of felt like a little bit of molasses, but it was really immersive. And I feel they've sped up the movement and made it more like 3 and 4, and then the immersiveness, the immersion of 1. So you're right. I do think the movement is better. And I'm so curious to see if this vibes with people. Like, I don't know how much COD you played, Lucy.
That's the thing. I used to play a lot of COD.
Okay, yeah. So how did it feel like compared to COD? What do you think?
My big COD experience would have been around the time of Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops, and then I've kind of dipped my toe in, kind of like you have with Battlefield, with like every single one. I also had the reflexes of a ninja back then, so for me it was way more enjoyable. And Battlefield to me felt like I was getting picked off halfway across the map by a sniper. And there was a lot of that today, don't get me wrong, because we were in one hall and you were all in the other. So like the pros and the streamers and the creators were all in one hall. And every time I would see some name come up, I'd be like, oh no.
No, that's true.
No,
that's
I'm gonna die. But so for me, weirdly, and I think to your point about how approachable and accessible everything was, the things that I was doing that I enjoyed the most would be helping. And not necessarily, because for COD, I was very kill hungry, and I would ignore objectives, and I would be that person.
That's how people play Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. And I was molded that way, and that's what I did. But however, in Battlefield, the thing that keeps me from not being so dejected, because I was dying a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a good player, but spotting, I immediately vibed with being like medic support. I was throwing down those bags.
That's the best part of Battlefield.
Yes.
Is that if you're having a bad game, you can go and do support. You can go and be like, repair tanks or drop little medic packs or whatever.
You feel like you're getting something done. And I think that's like going back to the classes here really kind of helped with that. Like me personally, I was like, it's fun to blow up tanks. I'll be the blow up tank guy. Like, don't worry, guys, I got you. So it's cool. I like how like you can settle in because it's 4 classes.
Yep.
Which did we break down? Assault, recon,
engineer,
scout.
Yep.
Oh no, scout and recon is the same thing. Medic.
So I think they call it assault, support, recon, and then engineer. Yeah. And they sort of blur the lines. Like support can be ammo or also medic.
Yes.
You're going to sort of go on either side. They're also, people are going to wonder about this, but they're doing open weapons playlists and then closed weapons playlists, meaning they're going to lock the weapons to the classes in the closed weapons playlist, but then they're also going to do the open weapons playlist. So you can play whatever weapon you want on whatever class you want. And then they're going to test that in the open beta and see what people actually want and what vibes with people, and then
look at the numbers and see how that works for me, because like I did like the flexibility of it, but I also, when you were just sticking exactly to the classes and the weapons, like you do feel the strengths of each one. Like it feels like they really just like leaned into that.
Yeah, no, it's the question that I kept getting asked was, is Battlefield back? Now I don't know if I don't even know if you know really that the answer to that question. I'm scared to answer it. So Jake, what do you think?
I'm scared to answer any question on the internet. But it feels like a good start at the very least. Obviously, like launch and support is going to be the big thing, and I think that's like how the question's really going to be answered. But in terms of just like jumping in and just feeling, I can only say authentic so much as a casual fan, but like it just feels like a genuine, good, authentic, like big budget, crazy shooter.
It does.
In a way that's good, and not how we've kind of grown cynical to that.
I would say that compared to 2042, because 2042's alpha or whatever beta was a little iffy, and there was lots of bugs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was always like, they'll clean it up. And they didn't really for the launch. This feels way more polished as a game. Not to say that means the servers could be on fire for the open beta.
And let's say, I still got a bunch of bugs in there.
Yeah, no, of course. But it still feels more polished than the way 2042's alpha and beta were. Yeah. So if that's any indication if Battlefield's back, to me, that feels like it is.
That's a big thing,
because the polish there is through Battlefield Labs. They've been working on that for a long time. I've been playing this game since April.
Okay.
I was going to ask if you were in Labs.
And like off and on, like only a couple of times I was able to join playtests. But the game is markedly improved since I've even played it just a few months ago. And I was impressed. I was impressed that they had actually put so much work into it. So Battlefield Labs is working. Yeah. Working as intended.
They're really excited about it. That's they keep talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly, in terms of, a company like EA, everything is always locked down, so secretive. To give so much access, and we talked to Vince and Byron about this, is like to give access to so many people.
That's right.
And obviously, a lot of leaks. Like, this has been the leakiest ship. I think even the release date leaked, yesterday. People were in Discords posting everything. Like, even the official account posted something while we were here. Like, this has been a leaky ship. But none of that has detracted, really, from audience sentiment. The energy was really good in there. And, like, even though I was shit at it, I had a really good time.
That's good.
I actually resented a little bit because they made us get here early today at like 9:30.
They did, yeah.
And then we couldn't do anything until 11:30.
Yeah.
And then
I was dying to play, which shows a lot.
and that's the thing. They made we watched the presentation, the live stream again, and I was sat there the whole time being like, I just want to be playing.
Yeah,
I want to be playing.
How do you feel about the destruction?
I mean,
it's definitely back.
To me, the destruction's practically perfect. Maybe it's a little too over the top at most.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we had a game where someone just had a rocket launcher, was just leveling everything.
Yeah, and that's what you should
awesome.
do. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do in Battlefields, because it gets rid of all the cover.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that when you're playing the game, you sort of forget about the fact that you can do that.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of those moments in my stream where I was just like, wait a minute, hold on. I have a grenade launcher. And I just shoot a grenade launcher where I kind of thought they were, brought the whole building down, killed 3 people. And I was like, oh yeah. Like I didn't even know they were there.
It's so good, like creative problem solving where you're like, somebody's annoying. You're like, get down from there. And you just blow up the floor.
Right.
Like the second floor.
Right.
We had a scaffolding drop out in front of us. We were both like rushing to the scaffolding in the New York map. And then all of a sudden it just goes bing.
Yeah,
and all the pipes and all the scaffolding falls down. We're both like,
where
do we go now? My stairs. Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of had that, that Gandalf moment where I was like, this is familiar, but I don't remember what this was. I swear I've been here. And it was just because the building was gone.
That's right.
And I thought it was really cool, really into it. Because like, I don't, yesterday was my first hands-on with it.
Oh, okay.
My map knowledge, 0.
Yeah.
And so the fact that it was still so malleable and things would change around, it kind of made me feel less lost.
Yeah,
because things were changing at a rapid pace.
That's one of my favorite parts, again, about Battlefield is that like, all these maps are pretty new to me. I played one of them. The other ones I had no idea. So dropping in that you don't have to worry too much about all these corridors. You know that there's occasionally you could just go sit in a room and hide for a second and like get your bearings and then be like, okay, everything's fine. Then run back out and everything's changed because of the destruction. I love that because then that doesn't mean that everybody's memorized the same hallway and the same angles.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like that's what I can't stand about Call of Duty is that I don't know those angles because I don't play those maps over and over. So it feels very not good for a novice in Call of Duty, but in Battlefield it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
it helps with like the longer matches because the start of the match, the maps feel one way, and then by the end,
it's a total mess.
Yeah,
so you're like, you're thinking and changing on the fly, and you're swapping classes. And I get it now. Like it's been a while for Battlefield for me, but like I'm into it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the thing that what is the name of is it Breakthrough?
Breakthrough's like their rush mode.
And then at the end you have like the final assault, the final battle bit.
Yeah, there's like basically it's like 2 flags, and then sometimes it's 1 flag and 2 flags. You're like sort of progressing.
Getting zones.
Yeah, you're getting zones. Exactly.
So we played a game of that yesterday, and I think that was the game that, because I mean, one thing I will say about Battlefield, and this is as someone who doesn't play it that much, is like it's overwhelming.
It is.
And I think learning that visual language, learning your gameplay loops and everything, it's a lot to take in. And then when you have a game where everything coalesces and makes sense, and that was our game for me, because the thing that I wasn't expecting was just how music played into it.
Oh yeah.
Because the bit where we were winning, we were advancing, we were going up this hill for the final stand, and the music was kind of really pushing you forward.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'm flow state. This is great.
Oh, good.
I am really into it.
Yeah.
I was locked in. And that's the thing. I think the thing for me, and like I said, as a novice, relatively speaking, who does play a lot of games, it did feel really good.
Yeah.
So 9 maps at launch, which I think is very impressive, very cool. Do you have a favorite so far of what you've been playing?
I really don't. I'm always a fan of the bigger maps. So I love the bigger maps with the tanks and the helicopters and jeeps and all that stuff. Like that's my Battlefield is Conquest. There's lots of other modes that you can play, like the squad deathmatch and domination, which is control points, things like that. That's just not really my thing. I think Battlefield shines in the larger maps, but some people would much rather play the Call of Duty style stuff.
Yeah, I would say like on the smaller maps and stuff, that where it feels more COD, I was like, I don't vibe with this.
It felt pretty sweaty. I'm curious to see how the meta goes.
Super
like
sweaty.
People running, sliding, jumping, like shotgun sliding, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's like this, huh?
I was doing that. I was doing that for sure. Oh my god!
Every time I was like, these fuckers.
So it felt so well, and it's funny because I had never experienced a slide before, really, and I was just I got it. Like it was just like I
clicked right in.
Yeah, and that slide felt really good, almost close to like the Apex slide. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about Battlefield that vibes with me. Since I've been playing it so long, I kind of know what it is. Even though it's changed hands so many times, I always sort of know what the guns are going to do. I know how the maps play out. So I'm lucky that way. And so that's why I'm really curious to see what people who don't play Battlefield think.
Yes.
Because I want people to love my game.
Yeah.
I really do. I love this franchise. And I think that 2042 was a huge misstep. And so I'm hoping that this brings it back.
Is there any, like, from what you've played, any red flag or any questions you still have before you like?
Man, that's a good question. I think these open beta weekends are gonna be really good because we'll find out what the netcode is like. So we only played with 300 people maybe. About
some people in the UK, we think.
I think maybe. But we need to find out what the servers are like with thousands of people. That's the catch. Because I know the game itself works technologically, but I don't know that they actually have figured out if they're going to have 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 people on their servers at any given time, what that's going to look like. So the open betas weekends are good for that. And I have been trying to like manage expectations and be like, hey, one of these weekends is probably going to be shitty. Like that's just the way it goes. So we'll find out if that is in my opinion, that's the breaking point. So
at the very least, like them putting it out for you don't have to pre-order the game to access the beta. Like that's
amazing.
That's confident.
That's
cool. I think that's pretty cool. So,
and it's also really like, I hate to say nice, but it's nice.
Yeah,
it is, because you don't have to worry about paying the extra $70. And you can just go test it and try it. And that's what I've been saying to everybody. Is like, everyone's like, is it back? Is it back? And I'm like
you'll be able to give it a shot.
Just go play. It's free.
It's so interesting having Battlefield back in the conversation, especially like so much positive buzz around Battlefield, because obviously 2042 was woof.
They fixed it eventually.
I mean,
they did. It took a while.
They did fix it.
They did.
And it kind of, 10 years ago, it would always be like, it's COD v Battlefield, COD v Battlefield. And it kind of feels a little bit exciting. And I think that's the thing that I wonder if this is a deliberate move on their part, like going back to 3 and 4, going back to the things that people love about Battlefield, the nostalgia that is attached to that is kind of super nice.
It is.
And I feel like, I don't know. I mean, and there's also a lot to say about this game. There's accusations of crunch, that mystical 100 million player follow it.
They'll never get. Yeah, that'll never happen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We asked. We were like,
We
"Is that
did
real?"
ask.
Yeah, and everyone's like, they got to be like, no, they're just shooting for the moon or whatever. Yeah.
But they are. I mean, hey, they are putting a hell of a lot of time and money behind it.
Yeah,
it's true.
But I think there is a void. Like, I just see the resurgence of the conversation right now. Like, people taking issue with Call of Duty being so much less serious than it used to be, and like Cornholio versus like the Terminator. Like, I think that's cool.
Which
but, like,
I think is hilarious.
Like, but I get like after a while, some people don't want that. So it feels like this is like perfect timing for Battlefield to kind of come in and give people something a little different, something to taste a little different.
I completely agree with you. Yeah, it's nice to see that the skins are like, you can get bulletproof vest or no bulletproof vest, like versus like if people don't want that crazy.
Do you want to be guy or girl?
Yeah.
Do you want to have face mask or no face mask?
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool. I don't care either way. Skins have never mattered to me in any game. But for the people that matters to, it seems cool.
I mean, in terms of having a robust life, online life with microtransactions, they're gonna have to find something to sell to people. So I imagine there'll be some stuff.
That's a good point. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see where like the EA aspect kind of like
the EA of it all.
Yeah, the EA of it all, like where that kind of comes into play.
Oh, I can already tell you, it's gonna be packed with battle passes and cosmetics and all sorts of other bullshit. You're like, just again, as a Battlefield fan, and then I've seen that happen more and more to these games over time.
Yeah.
Just don't buy them. It's so easy. Like, just don't buy. If you paid $70 for the game, just don't buy the other stuff.
They make my eyes like glaze over, like stuff like that. The only thing, what we did play, there wasn't really any sense of progression or anything other than weapon attachments and upgrades, which you do have like little points that you spend to get different weapon attachments. But we don't have like full answers of how exactly that goes down.
So I think I kind of do, because I think all of it, so for what we played, it was all unlocked, so we could change to any attachment we wanted at any point in time as long as we had fulfilled those amount of points. What you're probably going to do, if what I've read is correct and what Battlefield normally does, is you just play that class or that weapon and then just play it a lot. So then the weapon will unlock another attachment, and so on and so forth, and then eventually you'll get to the better attachments that you can then put on according to how many points you have.
Cool.
It's usually the way it works.
I like the attachments though, like just how
I do too. Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. I love putting things on my things.
The thing is obviously because we were playing under controlled thing, I didn't get a chance to really mess around with the shooting range or anything, but it was wild how quickly that loaded in. Like I was like messing around with my gun and attachments and stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna, and then I was immediately in and like testing stuff out. And so that would be, again, like as a novice who's getting used to the thing, like just having that off the bat was great.
That's good. And also you can change all that stuff in between deaths.
Yes.
So like you can customize your gun or change classes, but like that was one thing that 2042 didn't really have, which was so crazy, is that you couldn't customize your gun in between deaths. You had to like back out of a server. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, the flexibility. It's like in lobby, not in lobby. In between deaths, like tweaking stuff, that's good. That's where I guess like the big budget comes with like the amount of flexibility and options and stuff.
Right.
But, yeah, I think it's good that we're all kind of feeling pretty positive on it.
I'm not the right person to ask if Battlefield is back, because I love Battlefield.
Yeah, you're just in for.
I'm just in it. I'm always in it, and like I played 2042 for years afterwards. So,
are you going to be making stuff in labs? Do you have time for that?
That's not really my thing. I don't. Yeah. That's one thing I do want to talk about really briefly is Portal. Portal was fine in 2042. Yeah. It was like you could use all the weapons from the old Battlefields or the new ones, and
that's
I was
all
like,
I used it for.
Cool. Yeah. All right. But this Portal looks way cooler. There's a whole map maker in the sense that you can put anything you can think of into it, and then you're basically making custom maps like GTA. And that looked awesome. Like I was like, this is way cooler than I ever would have thought. And to me, that has some real lasting effect for what they keep saying they want the product to be, a platform. And that's kind of what we're going for.
They all want a piece of that action. I mean, like we talk about the next Grand Theft Auto possibly having a bunch of like UGC generated stuff. So the way they did it here, and then the way the trailer showed like just very specific cool fun examples, I'm like, okay, this could be really sweet.
And I mean, in terms of what we saw at this event, obviously it was multiplayer reveal. Still some unanswered questions. You know, we got a glimpse of single player. We got a glimpse of Portal, a glimpse of the Battle Royale mode.
The smallest glimpse,
the tiniest glimpse. And I mean, for you, is it the whole package or is it just multiplayer? Do you think you're going to dip into
I can't wait to play that Battle Royale. I really love, since again, it's Battlefield, so it vibes with me. I played Firestorm, the other Battle Royale from Battlefield 5. Which you had to pay for, which was so stupid. But I hated that. But I played Firestorm and I liked it. It was wonky, but whatever. So I'm imagining that they kind of must have made a better battle royale for this one because they clearly care about what they're making. Whereas it felt like an afterthought for Battlefield 5. So it should be better.
I'm excited, especially because like it's like every big game now has a battle royale.
Yeah.
So for Battlefield people to have one that they vibe with, that could be huge.
Yeah, and also that's the entry point for you. It's going to be free to play, and like I would assume, and then if you like it, then you can go and buy the multiplayer, and then you play in multiplayer. You know, like that's or the campaign or whatever. So,
yeah, I have to sneeze.
I'll call.
Look out! Look out! Look out! Okay, it went away. You distracted me. That was good.
Good. All right. Yeah, sure.
Good bit.
Yeah.
So we should wrap it up.
I was going to say, any other final thoughts on Battlefield?
I would just look, if you are curious at all, download the open beta and really go and give yourself a chance to play this because I think you might actually like it. I really think that this might be something that is. I don't know that I could recommend 2042 out of the gate, and this one so far I can't. So,
all right, well. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see.
Time. Yeah, that's the thing though. I don't have like a lifestyle game in me.
Yeah,
but I really did enjoy just like squatting up with various like pals who were at the event and just like shooting the shit while literally shooting a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do,
which is great.
Amen to that. Yeah. Bruce, you're a very busy guy. Where can the folks find you?
Oh,
if they're new to you,
it's just Bruce Greene anywhere. So BRUZEGREENE on literally any platform.
Amazing.
So there you go. Perfect. Twitch is usually where I am. So.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thanks, man.
No,
it's
thank
good
you.
We finally did a thing.
Yeah,
I know, right? Seriously, thank you.
Cool.
Thank you
Back to you, us.
AMA about Battlefield 6.
Okay, first of all, we have not seen your impressions, so we literally have no idea what you think of this game.
I could lie to you right
so
now.
Just, and obviously the audience now knows, so don't recount it or give us the TLDR. Yay or nay, give us the highlights.
TLDR, very, very fun.
Okay.
A lot of the people I was speaking to who are big Battlefield people, very, very happy. Very much the return to 3, 4 that people were into. The things that we didn't obviously see at the event, things like Portal, single player, the Battle Royale. But overall, a strong start. I will say, because it was funny the way the event was kind of put together, is that all of the streamers, obviously, as soon as that event, the live stream was done, they could like live stream their gameplay. But they also had a bunch of media people, and we did not have named gamer tags or anything. We would just, BF reveal, whatever, number your station. And so I've got like a little shit list now of all of the streamers who kept killing me over and over again. And I was like, every time I saw someone with a named tag, I was like, oh, this is going to end well for me. But however, I will say, and this is what I said in the impressions, is that even though I'm not that good at the game, I don't play a lot of Battlefield. I like dip in, check it out, and then kind of bounce out. I had a really good time, and even death was not like dissuading me from playing because I was always, and that's the Battlefield thing, right? You can contribute in multiple ways. And I really liked playing support. And I felt like I was actually, not dragging my team down. So in terms of like gunplay, felt very, very good. I will say the shotgun at its current balancing feels insane.
Overpowered.
Oh yeah, there was multiple streamers.
I saw Jack Frags getting completely mapped by that thing. Like it was out of control. So yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been like Tim the Tatman or something. But like they were just running up and they just squatted up and they all just had the shotguns. And they were,
of course, yeah.
The destruction was,
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, that's a good question. Did you play the finals?
No, I didn't.
Oh damn. Okay, right. Because I really want to know because I've seen the footage or whatever, and I'm like really experiencing it for yourself. I'm interested to see that comparison because the finals. Did you play the finals for us?
Yeah, you can charge through walls with one of the characters.
Yeah, you literally just walk through walls and like, and the entire buildings crumble and whatever. And I'm like, is it that good? Can it pull it? Can it meet that level? And I don't know yet. But from what I saw, it looked it looked in that ballpark for sure.
Oh yeah, and I mean like a bunch of the classes had like obviously you have grenades and you've got an RPG and whatever, and then just the way you could just basically terraform essentially those buildings and crumble and like. Especially when you're playing the larger scale game modes, I just felt insane because I was like, I swear there was a building here. I swear I was holed up in here. And I was like, I have no memory of this place. This is all gone. But even just the way that like there's a sledgehammer and you can just bust through whatever if you hear someone on the other side. Really impressive audio as well.
That's Battlefield though. When
Like,
they get
I mean,
it
that's
right,
Battlefield.
obviously. But like,
Oh,
yeah, they're
it was-
Battlefield. When they do it right, it's in a league of its own. They're just unbelievable. Yeah. Even like as I was watching live streams and whatever, Jack Frag gameplay, and I was like, shit, man, this sounds so good. Like just listening, and I never remark that when I'm watching other people play a game. But even I was like, okay, listen, this is incredible. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what in terms of your impressions of the gameplay stuff were for us. I'm a Battlefield fan. I'm not like a diehard, obviously, but I've always enjoyed the series. High points for me, Battlefield 4 and 1. And I played 2042 in its pre-release form, and that was a fucking catastrophe.
Oh, it was a mess.
And like, we played the beta and we're like, for the love of God, do not release this video game. This is terrible. It's not in good state. Like the design choices that you've made are bad. Do not release this. And they released it, obviously. And, the game never found its footing. It apparently sort of gained some ground, but like it's still hated by the community. You know what I mean? Like I saw a tier list, whatever, that was doing the rounds on Twitter, and 2042 was the only F tier entry on the tier list. And it's like, well, yeah, fair enough. So I look at this footage though that I saw, the reveal trailer, the gameplay, and just looking at it, not listening to the commentary of people saying this is Battlefield is back, blah blah. Just watching it myself, I'm just like, this is so much better than where 2042 was at the same point in time. Like chalk and cheese. It just looks so polished, not perfect, obviously, but you can really tell that like this game is working from a design perspective and a technical perspective. Now, whether or not that equates to a live server environment, because you were just basically playing LAN there. But whether or not the servers actually work, that's a whole other thing, because obviously Battlefield 4 was essentially unplayable for like a year because of server issues. But, if that part does work, then this is looking extremely impressive, I think. So what I know, Force, what did you think? What were your off the top impressions?
It's funny you said that too, because I know you're saying you were disregarding whatever the commentary around it was, but I literally just watched the videos on mute. I just happened to be doing something at the time, and I was watching the Jack Frags video on mute. And every time I'd go back and I'd look for like a solid 20 seconds, I was like, damn, this looks good. And then I'd go back to what I was doing. It just looks really good. Like, I'm really impressed with the quality of the animation. I mean, they have the thing, I don't know if this was in the last Battlefield, I don't remember, but when your teammate's on the ground and you go to res them, you grab them by the collar and you pull them back while you stick a fucking whatever and them adrenaline.
Dragon Revive.
It looks so cool, man. It looks awesome. So
Dragon Revive, I felt like that was maybe the one part where not that it was verging into sort of silly territory, but the superhuman strength that you have in just dragging your teammate away from, and like the speed at which you do it was quite something. But at the same time, like I said, as someone who's playing a lot of support, and I always enjoy playing support, it's like that emboldened me to get in there because I knew I could get in, res them, and get out super quickly. And like the fact that they're on their back when they're res, they're not immediately up and about.
Yeah, that's a nice touch,
I don't know, it was really
and also just like the environmental stuff, like but beyond the destruction that's happening, just the scenes that they're setting, and like it's also like depressing to watch because it's really it makes you kind of feel, I'm like, am I watching footage? Like this is like just all the buildings blowing up and all the shots going off. I don't know. I just thought it looked good. I'm really not trying to gas it up. I've got no dog in the fight. I don't really care too much one way or another, other than wanting good games to have fun playing. And it hopefully looks like one of those, I'm looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 2042, they were, I don't know who it was, whether it was like EA management or DICE management or someone. Clearly, they were making something that no one asked for. Like, no one asked for specialists, and the way that they were approaching so many parts of that game, it was like the Battlefield community did not ask for this, And I think the theory was that, like, we're going to do specialists because then we can sell them as heroes, and it's kind of become like a hero shooter kind of thing, and yada yada, and complete disaster. This one though, it really just feels like they're like, okay, no, let's just make the game that you like, let's just do it old school. And old school doesn't mean like outdated, because the appeal of Battlefield is quite like, evergreen. And I think that they're just really committing themselves to that from what I can see. They had like an extraction shooter kind of thing going on in the last Battlefield. Remember that like fire? What was it called? It was called like, fuck, they shut that game mode down after like 3 months or what? No, it wasn't Firestorm. Was a Battle Royale.
Firestorm's
that's right.
Hazard Zone. I think it was like Hazard Zone or something, which is kind of like an extraction shooter thing that everyone played for like 2 rounds before they realized that like this is awful, and no one played it ever again. So again, it's kind of they're not doing any of that. And the fact that they're doubling down on Portal, I think, is also fantastic because, you know, for us, that seems like, oh, it's a love letter to Battlefield thing. But with EA, it's actually just very smart business because user-generated content is massive. Like, we have no concept of how massive it is. But when you start getting into the territory of like Roblox, it's absurd. I think the most concurrently played game in history.
I just saw this today.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the most concurrently played game in the history of the human species is this fucking, what's it called? Grow Your Garden or some shit?
Yeah. I'm like, make your own garden. I watched gameplay footage. I'm like, what is happening? Like, 25 million concurrent players. 25 million concurrent players. So that's like more concurrent players than all games on Steam combined in any given moment, playing this like user-generated content stuff. It's all my nephews talk about and their friends. It's all they play.
So
they play Roblox.
So, you know, like EA want a dog in that kind of user-generated content space, you know, and I think this is not going to do those sorts of numbers, obviously, but it's a real chance for them to like give this title longevity while also just being a good thing for hardcore Battlefield fans, because you will get some mods and some servers up that are just running cool shit, and I don't know, it's a nice thing they're doing. So man, I'm actually very pumped for this. Obviously, I don't want to have my heart broken again, but everything they've said is on point, and all of the things I've seen are on point, and all of the feedback from people who played it themselves was on point. So
they seemed very confident.
I mean,
did they talk at all about like here are the lessons we learned from 2042, mistakes we won't be making again?
In a roundabout sort of way. In our interview, we asked that, and they were like, well, first of all, Vince was like, I wasn't here.
I mean, like, when he said that in that interview, by the way, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? We know that you weren't here, man, but like, you also just like, come on, bro. Like, yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. But I guess, they chucked a lot at the wall for 2042. And I think them going back to what people actually want is very smart.
I think the answer to that question is they're not going to say it aloud. They're not going to be like, yeah, we really fucked up with 2042, do we? I think the answer is in what we're seeing in terms of how much of a retreat this is to classic Battlefield. And retreat is not like a bad thing in this term. It's like them just kind of waking up to themselves, being like, oh yeah, people just want this old thing that we used to make. So let's make it again, but make it cool and new and better. And that's it. So I like that a lot. I think it's cool. I also think they just put out a statement being that they're saying that they're not going to, like suggesting that they're probably not going to do the crazy, you know, like Beavis and Butthead skins that you can get in Call of Duty these days.
Yeah.
Which like I don't play COD, but if I did, I would hate that. I tell you what I do play Destiny, and they have like Star Wars crossover skins, and they just look like
in there?
They do, but like they put a unique spin on that, so it still looks like Destiny, and I'm kind of into that. But then they just do other Star Wars skins where it's just like, you're just a stormtrooper. And I'm like, no, I hate all of this. This is terrible. I don't want like straight up licensed IP in Destiny. I want it to be immersive. And I think Battlefield saying, no, we're not really going to do any of that bullshit is another great move. Like they want to protect the immersion of this franchise, which I think is an important thing for the people who play this game. So yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was playing a little bit. What have you both been playing?
Yeah,
Boss,
what have you been up to, man? What have you been playing lately?
Well, a few different games. I don't know if you wanted to hear about any one of them in particular. In the past like couple of weeks, well, most recently Grounded 2. Prior to that, I played a bunch of Wildgate and then Soulframe.
Would love to hear about Grounded 2 because that just came out in early access this week. Did you play the early access?
Not the early access.
Okay, so you just played like everybody else.
Just at the launch. And you know, funny enough, it wasn't listed as early access for the first few hours. I don't know.
Weird.
It was on Tuesday, and I know Steam does a lot of their updates and stuff then. So I don't know if that was part of the issue, but it was just like straight up like, here's the game. They didn't have the whole 5 paragraphs of why we're in early access, what we promised to do, and all that stuff. So it's kind of funny because you'll actually go if you look at a lot of the negative reviews, which it's mostly positive, but some of them were about that. They're like, this is like not finished. Why doesn't it say early access?
Weird,
but yes, I played on the Tuesday launch and played I think about 30 hours now at this point, and I've pretty much seen what there is to see in the game. I would say it's a solid foundation. And I just want to put it out front, like I really, really like the game, but it does have some like technical and performance issues for sure. I think a majority of the negative reviews that do exist, I think it's like a 74.5% rating right now on Steam. But of the negative ones, I think most of them are pertaining to performance.
Because this one actually moved to Unreal Engine 5, if I'm not mistaken. Whereas the before, I don't know which engine they were on before. Can't remember.
I want to say UE4, but I'm really not certain.
I don't know. Yeah, but either way, I remember speaking to the developers because I played it very briefly at Summer Games Fest this year. And I did notice the visual uplift as well.
Oh,
I
looks great.
It was 4. Yeah.
It was 4.
Okay, was it? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I played the first one, and it was a nice looking game, because obviously it was very stylized, and I think it was really nailing what it was shooting for.
Yeah.
But this one, as soon as I booted it up, I'm like, oh shit, wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah, this is it's like higher fidelity. It's got some really nice lighting, you know what I mean? It's got a lot of those bells and whistles. But honestly, performance aside, like there are some bugs that they have to iron out. But once, I'm kind of confident that that's it. Every time you say it, right?
Every time.
Oh, the bugs and but just like as a baseline, it's great, dude. It seems like they're just really building upon. I think part of the reason the game is sitting at a positive score right now is because people are like looking past the issues that it has and like, man, this is a great foundation. It's such a unique setting. Like it's got the core of the game. It's a survival game. You do the survival thing. You start with nothing. You get some basic resources. You make your tier 1, make the better tool. You can harvest tier 2. You push out into the world. It's got that really cool, it's the Honey I Shrunk the theming behind it. Honey Shrunk the Kids theming behind it. And they have this like nefarious science group who's conducting these experiments, and that's the whole narrative that kind of pushes you out into the environment. And then there's like a third actor in this as well that's like they're framed as the bad guy, but they're probably actually the good guy, and the people you're working with are probably the bad guys. But I think what I love most with the setting, you're shrunk down to the size of the bug. You're in a park now instead of being in a backyard. And they basically make it so that you have all of these points of interest that are, it's a picnic table with food all over it. And the food is rotten, so it's putting off this noxious cloud that's like the poison area. You've got a fire pit, which is like a volcano, basically. There's a tarantula cage that got knocked over, and the tarantula is like lurking around in the grasses, and it's just such a cool setting, and there's so much nice attention to detail. And harvesting water, you're not just going to a pond, but dewdrops will form in the morning on the blades of grass, and you'll go pick them up and use that as for your hydration. And
did you play the first one?
I did. It was just for the early access release, though.
Okay.
So I'll be honest, like if I'm trying to draw comparisons, I don't think I.
No, that's fine. Yeah, because
I don't think I have them readily available.
Yeah.
I do know that I've seen people mention some really nice quality of life improvements. Like, so instead of having the one harvesting tool per, a hammer, an axe, a shovel, they're all rolled into one now. They've got the Omni tool. You do upgrade on separate paths. Like you need separate resources to upgrade the shovel derivative of your Omni tool.
Right.
But it's all one instead of taking up like 4 slots on your hotbar, having to swap things in and out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's good. Genuinely, I think it's good. I just hope they work on the issues that are there.
Yeah,
with performance.
So
and
you played. It's 4-player co-op.
Yep.
Okay, and can you imagine playing this on your own? Or you're like, nah, man, you really got to play this with people.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, honestly, I tend to play a lot of games alone. This one I played for about 10 hours, and then I just had 3 other friends who were really into it and wanting to check it out. So we ended up going in as a group. The playing solo would definitely like extend your playtime. I think we pretty much wrapped it up at about our 30-hour mark. I could easily see it taking closer to 40 plus if you were solo, just because really the biggest thing is like there's a lot of really big, deadly, there's spiders and cockroaches and stuff, and they're going to be a lot harder when there's not someone to draw their attention. So when you're playing in a group, it just makes it so much easier to take on these challenging fights, these different particular moments. But you could definitely play it solo. Like I played about 10 hours and I was progressing nicely and everything was going well. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes from here. It's about a third of the game right now.
Okay.
It's like the upper left-hand corner of the map, and you can already see the remaining sections that are going to be filled out. In fact, when you go to the perimeter, of where will be additional zones. You can see the work in progress, like points of interest off in the distance. And I think about a year is what they're planning for their.
I was going to ask if they had a date for 1.0.
Well, they don't have they definitely don't have a date, but I think they said about a year is what they're aiming for, and they already have a roadmap for said year. So they have what they're planning for the fall and the spring and the summer, and then remaining after that. But yeah,
right. So would you recommend someone jump in now and check it out, or like, just sit back for a little bit? Like,
with all of that said,
yeah,
I'm hesitant to. I enjoyed it, but you just have to realize what you're buying into. I think you have to realize it's incomplete. You don't. There's gear works in tiers, and there's like basically the first 2 tiers are there, and just a little bit of the 3rd tier of gear. You've got a 1/3 of the map. It's a 1/3 of what content will be there. It's probably best to at least wait until they iron out some of the issues that they have right now. Like there were bugs getting stuck in the terrain and stuff, and we had some performance stuff, like I mentioned, and you would die, your backpack drops, and you have to go manually retrieve it. You drop your resources, and say about a 1/3 of the time our backpack would fall through the floor. Now, apparently they knew this was an issue because there's literally a button in the game that says, okay, all those backpacks you lost, we'll put them at back of the starting area. It's a button. You just click it, and they're like, okay, we know this is happening. Here's the backpacks. I feel like I would almost feel more comfortable recommending, if people are even vaguely interested, you'd probably be better off, if you haven't already, to just pick up Grounded 1. It's a fully complete product. And maybe if you like that and you want to make the jump to 2 sometime down the road, definitely do it. And I do like the game. I think like I'm happy with my purchase. I didn't get a code. I bought it, and I'm like, I had a good time. I had a good 30 hours. But I feel like just for survival games, I think the bar is so high, and people expect probably more than what's here initially.
Okay.
It's I don't know if you played RuneScape Dragon Wilds, but that was even shorter survival. Right. That was a survival game that you finished in like 15 hours.
Okay.
Shockingly enough.
What, as in like in early access, or that's the whole game?
Yeah, the early access launch of the game wrapped in, and maybe it's not fair to make comparisons, but I just feel like in the survival genre, people are expecting a kind of lengthier runtime.
Yeah.
For these games. But if you know what you're getting into and you're totally happy with a 30, 40-ish hour experience, and you can kind of stomach through some performance issues and bugs, I do think it's a really solid foundation, and I am confident that they're going to get it there. Like, at least if their track record with the first game is any indication, I definitely think it's a special setting, and I just had a good time. It was just cool exploring and being like this little character going around this stuff. Oh, and something else I didn't mention: they leaned more into RPG stuff than I expected.
Oh.
They have full-on gear with gear sets. You can play as a tank, a rogue, an archer, a mage. They've got all that stuff laid out. There's progression path and tailoring to it, and that was also a nice thing that I wasn't really expecting. I don't remember if the first game really had that, like gear set with set bonuses and perks. And
I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute since I played the first as well. So
cool.
It was a promising start.
Yeah. I like it. It is a good start.
Go Obsidian.
Ralph.
Fan of that studio.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, hey, was it 3 games they're doing this year? Just 3?
No kidding.
Just the 3. Just a cheeky
just
little.
Just the 3.
How many? Do you know how many studio locations they have?
Oh, I vowed. I forgot. I totally
just one.
Oh no. No.
Well, Grounded is like co-pro with IDOS Montreal, right? That. Or is
it is.
Yes.
Yes.
But they only have that Irvine location.
Okay.
Like the studio, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, good on them.
Okay, me, I have. Okay, so I've been playing a few things, but I think one of the ones that I've really been struggling to play is Destiny.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
What's the state of Destiny? It has been a couple years.
It's not good.
The podcast recently has kind of become like a Destiny support group.
Okay. It's therapy for
been a slow group.
Therapy.
It's like, I think, I had big plans to play more of the game this week because I've had more time available to me this week. Website is launched now, bigvideogames.com. Please check it out. And with that madness out the way, I've been able to go, cool, I'm going to play a lot of games this week. And Destiny 2 is at the top of the list. But I just really struggled with motivation to want to log on to play it. And that is not something I've ever experienced before with a new expansion. I've definitely felt that way at different times with Destiny, absolutely. But it's just the wall of noise coming at me about this game and where it's at right now is so universally negative that I kind of just look at what that experience is, and I just really struggle to log on. Just if anyone has,
if I can equate this to a real world example, it sounds like you're kind of breaking up with Destiny. Like you, you don't see it in your future. Right. You're not making the big plans.
Spark's gone, baby.
This spark's gone.
No, I mean, look, I've kind of, but the truth is that I kind of like broke up with Destiny last year. With after the final shape, and I think it's most of us who are playing the game did that. We had the final shape, which was the last concluding hurrah, and it was really fantastic, and everyone was happy, and it was like, yeah, high fives all around. And then the news of the layoffs came, and there were such profound layoffs that we're kind of like, well, how could Destiny ever be the same in future? Like, how could we imagine that its future is brighter than it's been before? It really just felt like, its best days were behind it. And it, certainly hearing the chatter about this expansion, that sort of seems to be the case. Most of the design changes that Bungie have made make the game much more grindy, and that without less adding new content and more just having you play more of that content to kind of stretch it out, I personally have finished the first 3 missions of the campaign now, and it's okay. There's nothing much I can say about it. There's a sort of you turn into a little morph ball, like a little Metroid morph ball during the campaign, and that's kind of just a thing that they've got in there. Fine. I really haven't got anything more substantial than that, but I just remember logging onto my clan's Discord yesterday, and there was 10 people in the thing or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my god, bro, we've got so much to tell you. It's such a fucking shit show right here. Like this happened, this happened, this happened." And these are the most hardcore, rusted on players, and all of them were just like, "Oh man, this is not in a great place." And so that was another thing that just made it really hard for me to go, "Okay, I guess I'll suit up." All of them have this attitude towards Destiny where they're like, yeah, we just played the expansion because we have to play it, but we're already playing Elden Ring Night right now, for example. They're just playing other things. And I don't know, man, it's a bummer. It makes me really sad. I really hope that Bungie, that Sony are willing to invest in Destiny as a franchise, because I really believe that it has still a very I believe it has a big future ahead of it. It's a really fantastic franchise. It's a fantastic game. And I think the answer to its future is not let's scale back and just try and, monetize the players remaining. I think the thing is to try and take a big swing with it and see who else you can pull into that universe. I think the potential remains. Even if you go on.
Do you think they ever get past the hump and issues that caused them to do the whole removing of Mars and all of that stuff? Is that ever in the pipeline for the future? Because I feel like I remember when Destiny first got announced, and in my head, what I envisioned was hey, they're going to do World of Warcraft, but Halo combat. That sounds amazing. But it ended up, as it's not a full open world. It's all segmented, and it's a loading screen into planets. And I just feel like that. I just want that future at some point. I want that ever expanding universe.
Oh, man.
Not that 5 planets, then we remove some, and then we add one, and then here's a moon, and do you think it's possible? Is there any
God almighty?
I mean,
no, dude. I mean, you're asking the questions that we've been asking ourselves for so many years, and it's an absurd thing to say aloud. We say this game that you imagine should naturally, every other game, it gets bigger over time. But it's a truly absurd thing that parts of it are lopped off. That parts that you paid for are lopped off because for X, Y, and Z reason, and then they're brought back, and it's a ridiculous scenario. And I mean, there's been 2 sort of great sins in the history of Destiny, and one of them is sunsetting, which is where they kind of deleted all of your old gear and made you re-earn it, basically. And I was kind of okay with that in many ways, because I'm look, it's a loot chasing game. We shouldn't be able to hold on to a good gun forever, because that just kind of breaks some of the loop, right? So I was okay with that. I also had a background in MMOs and ARPGs, and I was totally fine with that. Not totally fine.
New expansion comes out and your powers drop.
Totally. I was whatever, man. Yeah. I shouldn't be able to use my Crystal Spire of Caribou forever, right? I need a new healing item, But with content vaulting, that was just a bridge too far. And it was well, Bungie said they needed to do it. And I was like, all right, I guess if you say so.
I'll trust them.
I was just like, okay, if this is what you feel like you really need to do in order to be able to like maintain the game and give us good future content, all right. It didn't sit comfortably though. And certainly now looking back on it, you know, and that decision and the impact of it, it was definitely the wrong decision because everyone fucking hates Destiny who doesn't play it or even who does play it because of that. They hold a real grudge about that. The idea of removing content that we paid for, the idea of shrinking that universe, whatever. So in answer to your question, do I see them going back on that? I actually don't, but not because of like a policy decision, just purely because of their bandwidth now. The team is much smaller.
Yeah.
And if a team twice or 3 times the size of that studio earlier could not have maintained that content cadence and maintained that content, then I can't see how this smaller team is going to be able to do that. You know, it's about the way that Destiny is built as a game. Maybe if they were to do a Destiny 3, they could do it differently.
I guess even that is kind of what I was thinking. Like,
yeah, I mean, look,
because it was some like architectural issue with their engine, right? They couldn't.
There's a million
hold
things
all that
you could
gigabytes
say
of content or something. Yeah,
but
I kind of get it. Like when I remember talking about it when it happened, because at the time I was still into the game, and I was like, this kind of sucks, dude, that they're getting rid of content that we paid for. And people, I think the biggest argument that I saw against it was people saying, well, hey, it's just like seasonal content. Like everyone only plays the new season anyways.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, I guess so, but it still just doesn't. I just didn't love it. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. I mean, it's also not like with an MMO where like there's just with an MMO with WoW, whatever, there's so many just dead zones lying around that you only ever go to when you're leveling up an alt. And now you don't even do that anymore because the leveling experience is so truncated, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, it just adds to the texture of the game. And I think it just, you know, rather than delete them, find some ways to make them useful and interesting. Find some ways to like, you know, broaden that content offering using those existing locations or what have you. So yeah, look, I don't know. As I said, I will continue to play through the expansion. I will see how I feel about. I'll do the raid with my clanmates or whatever else. If they want to, they say that they're not really even raiding, and it's like the second week, and they don't want to raid. You know, they just kind of done it once, and they feel like they're done. So I'll do that. See how I land with it. But honestly, I'm just not feeling a real vibe to keep playing. I'm just kind of
sorry to hear that, man. I know.
Yeah,
I know that was your thing for so long.
It was. It truly was, and it truly was. And nothing would make me happier than like, you know, Bungie making a big announcement that like Sony has greenlit some big thing and we're hiring and the team is, you know what I mean? Like I would love to see that because that would give me a lot of hope that like, hey man, yeah, cool. Destiny's is got a bright future ahead of it. Because as I've said many times before, you know, our engagement with these sorts of games is very predicated on the promise of the future. You know, like these live service games. If we know that they have cool things coming, we're like, cool, I'll keep close to that game then. I'll invest in my time into my account, whatever. But if you can't see that future, then you sort of become much less motivated. You think, well, I may as well do some other stuff, you know? So yeah, like I said, I'll keep playing. But right now it's a struggle to log on. Yeah.
I guess too it is interesting because I know originally wasn't it the case that it was a 10-year plan and 3 games and then they just kept going with Destiny 2. So
yeah,
they certainly didn't envision it being where it is today because they envisioned being on to Destiny 3 by now. So
they did.
It's an interesting problem, I guess. Yeah.
So, anyway, that's me.
I'm not too far into this game, so I'll keep this pretty quick. But I've been playing Wheel World.
Oh, that cycling one.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
Kind of turning me into a little bit of a bike pervert, I think.
Okay.
It's a game by Messhoff, who did Nidhogg.
Ooh.
And I didn't really realize that. And I booted it up and I was like, Messhoff, why do I know that name? And then, the Nidhogg team. It's a game where you play as a girl named Kat, and you have a bike that has a spirit in it for some reason. And there's a big catastrophe coming, and you have to basically find all of the legendary components of this bike. And you do that by earning rep and racing against bike teams on this beautiful island. And it is, and along the way you can find like little pieces of bikes that you can kind of upgrade with. And so it's this nice kind of open world bike racing game. But it's just it's and I don't mean for this to sound like patronizing or anything. it's just a really nice game.
Yeah, I've heard
Looks
that.
really nice. It feels really nice. It's cheerful, but it's not saccharine. I'm intrigued by the exploration because they're basically sort of like bell towers to go find, and if you find them, they kind of unfog your map a little bit, but they also and tell you where things are, like people to race and things to pick up.
It's like
but they also kind of give you Bike of the Wild, and it also increases the amount of boost that you have.
Okay.
But I mean, overall, they've just nailed how good the cycling feels and how good the racing feels. And I don't think I've ever played.
Can you like?
You can
spin your
jump
bike?
off. You can jump off things. I actually, for a while, I was like, can I even fall off? But yes, you can. I did crash a couple of times. But also, when you're racing, if you're in the draft of the person in front of you, you kind of get like that little speed boost to take over, and that helps fill your boost gauge. It just feels really good, and the music is sort of like this, like energetic, pumping music that I kind of want to see if it's on Spotify because I feel like it would be really good music just to work to. And yeah, I think it is the easiest onboarding of a game I think I've ever played. Like it just, I cannot overstate how quickly it just gets to the point and gets you racing. And so I've put a couple hours into it at this point. It's just really bloody nice.
I've heard.
I liked Nidhogg,
that.
so we'll check it out.
I actually saw this a little while ago, and I just thought that looks like a really nice vibe. I don't know why I started thinking about Pacific Drive when I was looking at this, because obviously it's a very different kind of game. But just like the idea of like just going and journeying and just sort of like the idea of just moving through space without necessarily having too much focus on objectives or whatever. I'm really into those sorts of games, you know, and that can manifest in different ways. I think these kind of flow state games, like, you know, Sword in the Sea and Journey and like Sable and whatever else, and then there's obviously Pacific Drive in a different way. But this one definitely really appealed to me as I saw it. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that it's good. The reviews are really positive, and yeah, it's Annapurna.
It is Annapurna. Yes. So this was at the hands-on that they had end of last year around TGA. They had it, and I remember everyone was saying you got to go play Wheel World, but I didn't have time, and so I was always like, oh, God. And then it's come out and it's a good time. So I do recommend that one.
Yep. Yeah, I do actually plan to check this one out. Actually, this feels like good Steam Deck fodder.
I was gonna say I feel like this would be a really good flight game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Luckily, I have no flights coming up anytime soon, but
yeah, I know.
There you go.
I mean,
I'll check it out.
I'm happy for you.
I am very happy for
as someone who's got 3 trips in 3 weeks.
Of course.
But so that's what we've been playing. We actually have been playing a lot more that we will get to.
Yes.
But a couple weeks ago, I played the first couple hours of Cronos, The New Dawn, which is the new game from Bloober Team, and I had a really good time. And so back then, like I just got home. We shot the impressions then, so Jake is going to be joining us for those. So here are those Cronos impressions after a quick word from our sponsor.
Hello, this podcast is brought to you by Factor. Factor, if you don't know, delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. They heat up in the microwave in a couple of minutes and you're good to go. You're new to this, right? You've been eating good?
I've been eating good.
In the neighborhood.
No, Factor's been great. They've been a lovely supporter of our show.
Yes.
And man, as you can tell, we travel a lot. We are currently here in LA for the Battlefield event. And I know that when I get home, I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat because there is a box that is being delivered tomorrow that's going to be full of something fresh, really tasty, and that's going to be, good for me.
It's really valuable, whether it's you work a lot, you're studying a lot, you have kids, anything, to not worry about meal prep or getting to the grocery store. You're covered with this. And they also offer a ton of different options, all different types of diets, keto, vegan and veggie, protein, calorie smart, fun add-ons. They have like juices and smoothies and stuff. So you are so covered with Factor.
Yes. And we've got a brand new Mediterranean diet that I am
dying
to try because I love eating food that is just fresh Mediterranean. So I am super stoked for that.
So, Lucy, how can people find out more?
Well, and excuse me while I pull up my phone because I want to make sure I get all the information so that you can go and have some wonderful Factor meals yourself. So if you go to factormeals.com/FPS50off and use the code FPS50off, you get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That is code FPS50OFF at factormeals.com/FPS50OFF for 50% off and free shipping. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered to your door from Factor. Thank you again to Factor for sponsoring this episode.
So you played Cronos. This is the game from the Bloober folks, right?
Yeah. So this is, hi everyone, we're recording this in the past because I just came back from the Cronos preview event, which, oh my God, there was an event held in the Bay Area that was like relatively close to where I live.
That's cool.
Amazing.
That's chill.
Which was very chill. I got to play.
So just to be clear, what date is it today? Today is the 17th.
16th over in America.
16th over in America. That's right. Just so you know when we're recording this bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's very fresh in my mind. I just played the opening 2 hours of Cronos from Bloober Team, which release date still TBD. It's later this year, fall this year. I had such a good time. Ask me.
Nice. Okay.
Is it Returnally or more like Dead Spacey? Like what is it?
Dead Spacey, Alan Wake 2-y.
Okay.
A little Resident Evil 4-y. It's
Banjo-Kazooie.
It's survival horror. It's and it also there's a really great stomp and even the way that you swing as your melee, it's very Dead Space.
Say no more.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. A stomp. Love a stomp in a game.
Yes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, the thing is that I was stomping on everything, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't have the dismemberment stuff from Dead Space, but their key mechanic. So you know how Dead Space had cut off their limbs?
Yes.
Cronos has don't let them merge because
because they're like gloopy guys, right?
If you come across like just a creature by himself, it's fine. It's okay to deal with. You have most weapon, I think, or at least the ones that we had access to, so which was the pistol and like the shotgun kind of thing. You can have a regular fire or you can have it charged. You can take out one guy by himself pretty easily. However, it's like old Resident Evil where you got to burn the bodies because if another one comes along, they basically have all of these tentacles come out.
Nice.
And then they just kind of wrap around and it absorbs and merges the dead one in on itself. And then it becomes the next level.
Cool.
So they were saying that if there is one that can attack from range, but then that's absorbed by one that's armored, then now you've got a ranged armored guy.
Right.
And so
okay.
Fun.
I was in situations where there was a lot of them, and I was like, oh, I can deal with this. It's fine. I'll pull them around here. There's a big red explosive thing. I can get a few of them in one go. And then I would hear or see in the back, because I hadn't been paying attention, there was one of them just, little delectable dead guy here. I'm going to evolve into the next level of pain. It was great. And I will say, like, from the opening, it's like if a game starts and if it's not interesting mechanically, it should be interesting story-wise. If it's not interesting story-wise, it should be interesting vibe-wise. If it's, XYZ. This had all of it because it starts off. You are a character. It's based in Poland, and it's kind of after the Second World War when the Soviets were kind of taking over and kind of and Poland was trying to rebuild. Something happens, and so I haven't really got there yet. But there's also you are a kind of person who gets sent back in time from before the event happens. And if you've seen that Mitchell and Webb look, this is from my British people, it's like they don't talk about the event sketch, which Stu, I'll send you a link. Also, you should all just look up that sketch. The sketch is very good. Anyway, And so you get sent back in time to find and absorb the consciousnesses of key people who they think can help in the future.
Okay.
And so I didn't actually get to a point where I found one of those people yet. It was the first 2 hours. But the first thing that I had to do was go back and find my predecessor. And the first thing it starts you doing is basically the Blade Runner, the test that he does where it's interlinked.
Sure.
And so they're asking you a bunch of questions and you have to answer. And I don't think there's a fail state on that or anything. However, and then just vibe-wise,
good sci-fi.
Just really good sci-fi, rundown, Poland. And they were saying that, because a lot of them were from Krakow, it's like they were creating a place that they knew intimately. And so for them, it was really weird because you could be like, oh, I know that house, or I know this corner or something.
Okay.
Weapons felt really good. Really, there was a really good amount of weight to the character as well.
This is interesting for Bloober because I didn't love the Silent Hill or the Medium in terms of mechanics.
Agreed.
It's riffing off classic survival horror in a way that I think is really good. And it made it felt familiar, but like even Dead Space, like I said, there's the stomp, there's the swing, even the way that kind of inventory uses, and like when you have these little safe rooms, kind of plays a Resident Evil safe room music-y type thing.
Nice.
And then like save points are pretty few and far between. I would say I didn't find it particularly challenging. As in like I wasn't dying all the time. I think it was a good level of challenge, but it wasn't kicking my ass. However, there were a couple of instances where I did die and I got sent back not quite a bit, but like not enough. Yeah. And I was like, oh damn, is okay, right. And so I was really thinking about each encounter in a different way, because I was maybe being a little bit more cautious for numerous reasons, because resources were super scarce. You have to craft. There is no getting around it. But there's like quick crafting. And then vibe and tone wise, I thought the world itself was just super interesting. Kind of do you remember Ish from The Last of Us? It tells that really heartbreaking story in the sewers and you find it all out through notes and stuff. There was a lot of that. A lot of people just who had been quarantined by the government at the onset of this mysterious event. And actually it was very strange playing it after living through the last 5 years, because there were all these notes, like these proclamations and declarations from the government saying, hey, if you're going to work, for example, you have to sit 2 seats apart, or celebrate Christmas at home. Don't go out, don't see anyone else, like make sure you are isolating. If you feel sick, don't go outside. So there was also that layer to it as well. It was really good, really confident, looked great, felt really good to play.
And what's the catch? Is it really just kind of like a single player linear survival horror, or is it a roguelite, or
no?
Like
it's a single player.
It's just a game you play through. Oh, yeah. Cool.
And it rocked. They were saying it's about 16 hours to finish it, but it'll take longer if you're one of those people like me who goes and explores everything. Cats. There are cats in it. So cats are basically, they're based on all of the dev team's cats. And so if you find them, you pet them, they'll give you a little item.
Hey, that's great.
Like a little healing item or something. But there were these obvious inspirations and flavors of things like Resident Evil. Like you got to find the bolt cutters, and the inventory system wasn't exactly Resident Evil 4, but it was super, super limited. And so there would be a point where you eventually get this kind of torch that you can light things on fire. But however, that's the risk reward, because you can stop them from evolving and merging. However, you lose a really powerful thing from your arsenal. And sometimes I didn't actually encounter one where I was completely locked off from it, because there'd always be a very convenient like petrol can or something. But some of the gross stuff would cover an area and you would have to set it on fire, and inside there would be delicious rewards. I didn't find one where I was completely locked off from it, but if there wasn't like a petrol can, but I do wonder if that will happen later on. They said the puzzles would definitely get more difficult later on. It was great. And there were just these really fun moments where before we started recording, Jake asked if it was really scary, and I was like, well, my opinion of what is scary is very warped because of who I am as a person. But they had a lot of like really great tension building moments, like your torch, your flashlight just going out at key moments, or sound design being really good, and you could hear horrible noises in the background. You're just like, oh, what am I getting myself in for? And one place, there was an apartment building that was a really fun thing to explore, because as well, there were these kind of anomalies, and you can manipulate them. And so what'll happen is it'll kind of manipulate fallen rubble back to what it was like before the event. So you can, it's not everywhere, it's only in certain areas, but it kind of changes the landscape. And so in this apartment building, for example, like a staircase had fallen in, and so I used that to build the staircase back up and stuff. And so there's kind of that element to it too. So it's not just going from A to B. It's going from A to B, but you get to manipulate the world a little bit. Nice. It was great. And the music was really good. Okay. The music was really good. Very... I mean, hey, it's me. Of course I'm going to love like an industrial little...
Yeah. Gonna say it has that kind of just looking at it like that should have an industrial inspired soundtrack.
Industrial, even actually some of it like reminded me a little bit of Blade Runner. Not when Vangelis gets like super 80s with synthy, it, but the synthy stuff. And so I was like, yeah. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see more of what it's like to have the souls, because you basically download the consciousness of people onto like a little ball or whatever. So, and then you can have up to 3 of them, I believe, with you in your helmet. So I wonder how that is going to work. And apparently who you take or whatever can influence things that happen. And it was a game where I was overthinking every encounter in a very good way, because I was so caught up on making sure that I was stocked, and just, I don't know, like combat felt really fun, and it got overwhelming, but not in a way that I ever felt like I was out of control. It was really good. Really nice. It.
I'm curious to see how it turns out, because I'm like hit or miss with Bloober, but like I like what they have been doing, like especially with Silent Hill 2. But I'm happy that they're not just in like the work on existing IP mines now. I'm glad that they're still doing something weird like this.
Yeah, I really hope it works out for them.
Me too. Because obviously that studio had a rough run early on, and cops a lot of flack for different reasons. I personally quite liked the medium. I think people really like to shit on it, and I was like, okay, it's derivative. Sure, I get that. It was a bit clunky in aspects, absolutely. But like overall, like I enjoyed it. I did.
It was a really cool idea.
It was
a cool idea, and I think, and I think that like what they did with Silent Hill 2 remake, they went so far above just like, oh, let's just remake it. They really, there was just so much love poured into that, so much like genuine innovation with regards to how they would put their own unique spin on it, while also remaining true to the source material. Like visually, technically, it was incredible, just the way that game looked, and the performances of the actors and the facial. It was just a really, really fantastic game. It would have been incredibly hard for them to have made something that good. And they did it, so I'm like really happy for them, and happy that they're moving into this space now where obviously they're also remaking Silent Hill 1 now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's great that they're keeping on with that stuff. Love it. But it's good that they're still doing their own original IP. And this one looks pretty cool. I like the look of it a lot, actually. Sick. So, yeah. So this is out when? We don't know the date.
Yeah, no
Fall.
Date.
Fall, okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Which is not that far away.
Okay, cool. That's great. All right, I'm excited.
All right, back to us in the future. Oh, actually, that's an unintentional Cronos thing that we just did.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look at us. Professional.
No. Stu, cut us quick. Cut us.
All right, so that was Cronos. And again, in the Frankensteining of this episode, let's make this one quick. We're just going to throw to an interview that we just shot with Abu, who is the head of Surgeon Studios. Last year came out with Tales of Kinzera Zhao, and it turns out in a very quick turnaround, they released their new game, which came out this week, called Dead Take, which I finished and I really enjoyed. And it was really fun to talk to Abu about it, while he's also simultaneously filming House of the Dragon.
As you do.
Yes.
As you do.
He's just in a big HBO show at the same time as running a game studio. Anyway, so here's that chat. Hello, mate.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us. It feels like just yesterday that you were on the show, talking to Jake Zhao. At least. Talking about Zhao.
And I was like bright-faced and, had hair, and I was probably really happy. And now I'm talking about like a horror game and how depressed I am about this industry and about life. So
game dev does stuff to you, man.
It really does.
I was going to say, I feel like if you weren't doing House of the Dragon at the moment, you'd have the Telltale development beard.
Oh, I'd have everything. I'd have the beard, tattoos, piercings, everything.
Amazing. Well, I mean, how long after Zhao shipped did you start working on
On Dead Take? Oh man. So it wasn't actually the thing that we were working on. So we were working on USO, which is the thing that we came out with. Actually, you know what? No. Let's rewind. We were working on a much bigger project. It was going to be like a multi-million-dollar project that we were going to be working on, like huge, right? And obviously the industry went through this whole turn and change. And I think rather than sticking to the idea of trying to make bigger, we were like, no, let's go smaller. So then we thought of USO, and we kind of conjured this RPG, this action RPG, which we were going to be like very clever in the way in which we kind of wanted to conjure and craft things up, right? But again, industry was really difficult, really, really tough, really, really hard. And we were still working on Zao. We were still like, doing patches and everything and all that jazz. Anyway, but we were really like trying to figure out like, what are we going to do next? Then along comes the Game Awards, talking to Bucky, who's from Pocket Pair. And he kind of let me know that, they're thinking of doing, opening a publishing arm, essentially. And I was like, that's great. And we were talking, because he really enjoyed Zao. I really enjoyed, Power World. And we were just talking about almost like the two different polar opposites of success that we kind of got from them, right? Like critically and, within the industry itself, like, Zao was like, hey, Zao's a great game. First game, great off the back, that kind of thing. Power World commercially just blew up, right? It was something else. So we were just talking about like the kind of the industry madness as a whole. And then we got talking about like his, the idea of Pocket Pair becoming a publishing arm and, what we're going to be doing next. And, I told him about USO and he was like, it's big for like a first kind of publisher to kind of go for it. You got any other ideas? I'm not kidding you. I literally was like, how about like a first person game set in Hollywood where you have to find your mate who you're both auditioning for the same role, making this up. And he was like, okay. And I was like, I can get like Neil and Ben in it and Sam and hell, I can get Matt Mercer in too. Like, Critical Role, because I like Critical Role. And he was looking at me like, that's really cool. Okay, let's do it. And I remember just thinking to myself, what the fuck's wrong with you, Abu, man? Like,
that is unbelievable.
What is wrong with you? And it was like, and this was it. He was like, so how long you got? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, how long could you make it? Like, what, time frame wise? Like, what you thinking? I was like, 7 months. He was like, cool, okay.
Oh my God.
Here we are, folks.
So wait, was this the most recent Game Awards?
Yes.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, you saw them when they announced our partnership. It was this game.
It was
this
Holy
game.
Hell. So you literally just pulled this game straight out of your ass.
Hey, baby, I'm an actor, right? This is what I gotta do.
Oh my God.
But the thing is, though, you know what was crazy, right? And this is like, I joke about it, but there's also this real magical element of it as a whole. As I was talking about it, and as we were kind of riffing off one another, we were like, this is actually really interesting. Right. Yeah, give me like Immortality, Gone Home, PT vibes. Give me the, and okay, write what you know, right? Write about Hollywood, about the horrors of it. Like I have conversations with Neil and Ben about this stuff all the time, like about weird directors, weird moments on set. Like make it it's horrific. And we can only laugh because it stops us from crying. Yet like, every other day you get weird sort of cases coming out about like weird producers or weird parties. So it's like, yeah, write what you know. So it was like, as we were talking about it, I was like, actually, we could do this. And so I just remember like pitching it, to Bucky, him being like, this is a great idea. Then like running out and like calling the team and being like, guys, we gotta make this FMV game. And then being like, what happened to Tales of Kenzera?
I can imagine you like running out of the JW, but like the Alan Partridge voice recorder, like Gameware.
Literally, because it was literally like, because the thing is, because that's it. Bucky was like, all right, well, so have you got a pitch deck? And I'm like, yeah, we got a pitch deck. He's like, well, send me the pitch deck. I was like, okay, literally run out. Hey, buddy, I need you to make a pitch deck. This is what it's going to be like. And I'm literally like editing it as we go along.
My God.
So yeah, it was an interesting process, man. But like one that I feel like we wouldn't have been able to have done so confidently if we didn't do Zao and learned like actually how the machine, like, the machine and the system and how a game is made. Because I think that's the difficulty with a lot of this stuff. Is like it's shipping the game, right? It's actually like getting a game out there. And I think like that's something that we learned really, really well with Zao, that we were able to even apply with Dead Take to get it out so quick.
So when you had this idea and you now need to pitch it to the voice talent involved and the camera talent, I should say, how'd that process go?
That was easy. That was the easiest part, man. Because I think, because it can, again, like it's, when you're telling actors like, hey, I want you to, I want to make a game about Hollywood and I want to use your face rather than necessarily hide your face behind characters, which everyone knows Ben as Clive and everyone knows Neil as Astarion, It's like, no, I actually want to use you. And I want to, show the world the journey that you have gone through as an actor. And, in this kind of short horror game, they were all down for it, dude. And like, it was like, that was the easiest part. It was like, the easiest part was just reaching out and being like, hey buddy, I need some help. Can you do it? And, and again, like Jane was also real game and amazing. And the good thing about the voice acting and just the acting community here, but especially within games, is that we are quite close knit and quite tight, and everyone knows one another. And so, yeah, that was like, that pitching process was easy. It then just became about the execution. So, really kind of focusing the team, and as well as like my vision in regards to keeping it quite clean and simple, but also quite focused and potent, rather than adding like, death sequences or like, attacks or whatever. It's like, no. Let's like really zero in on what we're trying to do here and focus on that. And that was the aim.
Because I mean, when I was playing it, I knew about your timeline being quite tight. And I think the thing that struck me about just how really in the span of the 4 hours or so, the amount of time everyone is on screen, it's very economical. And obviously like the mechanic of splicing and stuff is a very interesting way of like getting more out of those clips and stuff. And it's just like, how was it to be able to have to like design and plan and produce within those constraints of your timeline, of like everyone's time in terms of actors? Because I imagine like you didn't get much time with people on set.
I mean, it's like a film set, which is kind of why it felt really like, I think it felt really not necessarily easy, but kind of like a dream, because it's, on set, it's like a sprint. Time is money, and you feel it. You really feel it. Like, I think we filmed for a max, and I don't know, Dana can correct me here, but I think we filmed like 2 or 3 days, and literally it was like 2 days of filming and then 1 day as a contingency. And like, it just, again, you just had to have the answers, and you had to have faith in those answers, and I think like that was key, going in prepared with all the answers, knowing like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And realizing like, yeah, there's very little time to turn around on that and redo anything. You might have like a bit of time to do that, but when it's done, it's done. And again, and trying to pin like all these actors down and how busy they are as well, you only have that one shot, so you got to make it count. So yeah, it just felt like being on a film set. So I was kind of used to the madness and intensity of it. But at the same time, just also realizing like, hey, yeah, you've got to really be on it.
When I was playing the game, I guess like I didn't really know what to expect too much, because I think the trailers are, again, just like vibe, tone, and then you get the spice stuff. What were you drawing on in terms of gameplay? And was there a limit where it's like, I guess I'm still really interested in just like, designing everything kind of within those constraints and making the best of what you can. Because I think that's where you kind of can be the most creative in a way.
Yeah, I think when it came to like gameplay, it was really more so, or like, other games and stuff. It's funny, like, I've had my fair share of playing like, the Gone Homes and the PTs, but we kind of approached it in a way of like, how would we tackle an escape room? What would be a really, an escape room is a really cool idea for like a horror sort of space. There's already tension already with the puzzles, and they're fun, right? They're fun to do with friends. So let's just make like a reverse escape room. But it's almost like, again, when it comes to tone and vibe, we were like, what if Black Swan was a video game?
Yes.
That kind of, like, it's not horror with the gore and the elements of and not necessarily body horror, but like it's the psychological trauma and the need for success, the need to feel wanted. Like those were really the inspirations we ran with. So even when it came to like designing the puzzles and stuff and looking at, we were really pulling from inspiration of like, okay, what is the history of this man, of Duke and his mansion, and what, how can we tie and link, interesting escape room type puzzles to it, but also linking as well the FMV and the scenes that we record with that as well. That was really kind of where the inspiration came from on that front.
I also think the music is really, really
good.
The
music is dope. Yeah. Ross did such a great job of the music. And I think, and again, that was really pulling from that sense of there is a ritualistic element to it, but also something quite seedy and dark. We didn't want to go like full on Hollywood or like anything like kind of too creepy. It was just like, what does the horror of a man wanting success look like? That's all I gave him, and that's what he conjured.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Lost my internet. So I wanted to ask though, because obviously, Dead Take, it's come up quick. More than a few people haven't heard of this one, but it's really interesting in its premise. So could you actually describe like what this game is for someone who's never seen it before, never heard about it before?
Absolutely. So Dead Take is a first-person psychological horror game, which basically takes the love of escape rooms, reverses it, and throws in FMV in there. The idea is that you're playing as a washed up, like sort of Hollywood actor who's looking for a friend who the last you heard from them, they were at this like incredibly powerful executive producer's mansion up in the Hollywood Hills. And the last, you try to call them, couldn't find you, they weren't returning your calls, so you decide to go and find them. And that is the premise of it as a whole. But yeah, the game is the gameplay is essentially you in this in this mansion. The deeper you go into it, the more puzzles you solve, the more videos of these audition clips that you end up finding, the more of the truth unravels as to what actually happened here. So I was very fortunate to kind of employ like my mates like Ben Starr, Neil Newbern, Jane Perry, who play, and other cooler cats in this game, who essentially lent me their acting talents. And these are the tapes that you end up finding and playing in the cinema. And you end up splicing them also together to kind of make new scenes that reveal more context as you go along.
That is cool.
There's also like, I don't know, kind of mentions of other considerations, I suppose, in Hollywood. Like things are, some footage is on a USB, some is on a reel that you've got to digitize.
Yeah.
And like, I am a pervert who reads every note that I come across, and
it's
like,
good.
and then like every single text message and stuff. I mean, that there's also just like and then there's a lot of other kind of darker stuff to dig into, which was the bit that I was really interested in. I mean, for you, this is kind of 2 for 2 on games that you've made that have drawn deeply from an area of your life in some way.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zao like being about your dad, and then Dead Take being about, you are a very established actor and you kind of run in these Hollywood circles. I mean, do you ever want to do something that's not so connected to you to be a bit free from it?
I mean,
or does this fuel you, I guess?
I don't know, man. I feel like you've got to write what you know. Like, and I think like, you've got to. That's really where, for me anyway. Like, I feel like there is something really powerful about pulling from a place that you understand, and you can then tell all its nuances and tell all its detail, and you don't strike it at like a sort of weird high level, if that makes sense. I think the reason why, the way that grief was explored with Zao played with elements of funny, elements of sad, elements of anger, elements of kind of almost like boredom, is because I've gone through those emotions, right? And I think like that was really important in depicting that. Even with this, like the detail in regards to, even with the notes, the way that Duke behaves, the things that the characters say, the actors say, the way they behave, it has to come from a place of like, you kind of know where it's coming from. And I think that's what's really exciting about, games as an art form anyway. It's like, you've got to kind of, there is an element of excitement there that you can pull. Of course, it's about fun and it's about enjoying and having a good time, right? And I think like that's really key. The extra layer though, the extra nice fun of it is coming from a place of authenticity.
And I'm not sure if you asked this while I was away, but working with Pocket Pair, how was that process? Because obviously you had a conversation at a bar in December, and they greenlit your game on your little pitch that you just kind of came up with. When it came time to actually deliver it, how were they to work with in terms of like feedback and milestones and all of that sort of jazz? Because they're setting up themselves, like this is new to them too. Like, what was that like? They
are phenomenal. They're really cool. Right. They're devs. Sure. They understand the process, right? And I'm sure, I am 100% sure Bucky was like, go on then, mate. Let's see what you can do. And like, and I'm sure that, again, it's, you can't pull the wool over these guys' eyes, right? Because they know, they've seen it all and done it all. So they just get it. They when it comes to even just going through the process of sharing builds with them, the notes that they give back, like everything just felt like they understood. They were cool about it. And that was what was really lovely about it. And again, I'm not saying that working with EA was like the complete opposite. Yeah. Like it's just different. It's just different beasts. You know what I mean? And I think the one thing that I definitely learned a lot from Pocket Pair is, it's just funny. It's like it's something that a lot of actors, you get told this a lot. It's like less is more. Like really like that focus, the idea of like kind of just zeroing in on just one thing, being good at one thing or one or two things rather than trying to do everything was really, really interesting to talk to them and discuss and play with them about, especially with the short development time that we had.
You're right. And so do you imagine, so this is now out. It's on, I know it's on PC. Is it on consoles as well?
No. Okay. So it's on PC and Epic Games Store. Okay. So Epic Games Store and Steam.
Got it.
At the moment. That's sort of where we wanted to kind of zero in on first.
Are there plans to go to console at some point in the future if things line up?
Never say never. I think like, again, it's funny, right? It's like, I think the industry at the moment is, it's, you have to kind of gauge and see how people are, right? And I think like that's something that I've always been kind of key on, is like seeing like, okay, do people like it? Do people want more of it? Do people want to see more? Like, how do we play? And then you kind of grow and build that way, which I think is a lot nicer to do. Don't get me, again, with Zao, what we learned with Zao was like shipping on all consoles at once at the same time. That was like a gigantic feat, and it was so hard. It was like nuts. It was like a lot of work, and it is a lot of work because, again, certification of different consoles, making sure that it runs really well on different consoles. Like it's a feat and a beast of its own. And we really just wanted to kind of deliver this in the time frame that we had, deliver this nice and really well on one platform, see how that plays, and then, judge it from there. But I think like right now, we are just focused on getting that PC vibe solid in.
For sure. And do you know, have you started to think about what's next?
I mean,
just about to ask, what are you doing now?
Given the interesting origins of this project, have you given consideration to what might come? Are you going to make it up right on the spot right now in front of us? Go on, pitch us your next game.
Right now,
yeah,
pitch your next game.
Pitch us the game. Go on.
It's going to be a crazy sports game.
That's right, dude. Immediately, that's going to sell big numbers.
Absolutely. No, I think the thing is like where we're at and kind of how we we play it, like we've all got 101 ideas, right? That we're all kind of cooking and playing. And the one thing that I've learned as well, which has been great with this team, is that we're good at prototyping quite quickly and just jamming and seeing what works and what doesn't. So we're at that phase now. Cool. We can kind of play and see what we're doing and what's next. And I think, the glorious thing about, with just having a game that's out, just come out, you have like a tiny bit of room of breathing space before you then start panicking. So that's where we're at the moment.
Yeah, right. Nice. And like
the breathing before the panic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you, and for you personally, like, because obviously you're a busy person, you've got other things going on in your life. How do you balance that? How much time do you put towards this versus other things? And does it ebb and flow based upon like shooting schedules and like what's the deal with that?
It's funny, like we're filming like some of like the biggest scenes at the moment on Dragons,
right?
And like the showrunner and writers just come up to me and they're like, "So how are you enjoying your hobby?" And I'm like, "What's my hobby?" They're like, "You being an actor." And I'm like, "That's all right," but like literally. But the thing is, truly, like the balance is just having a really lovely team around you, man. Yeah. I can call my team up, tell them, ask them something, or tell them a thought that kind of came to mind, and they'll rock with it, or they'll tell me I'm crazy and keep doing what they're doing. And there's just that level of trust that I'm giving my team to know like that they'll deliver. And that was the thing that I think was both quite beautiful and quite terrifying about last year. Beautiful in the fact that we had just found, we launched our first game, found our stride. We know the shorthand with one another. The terrifying element of not knowing what the hell is happening in this industry means that there is the fear of losing, everything that you've built. So, but we were very fortunate now to be in this position where we have got a second game out and came out at like such, a ridiculous time frame. It's because we know each other so well. And it's like, it's just building that on and just keep going with that. And so, yeah, it's very, that balance comes through the fact that it is just pure trust, man. I trust these guys.
Thanks for coming back on the
Really
show.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Always great to talk to you.
I'll see you guys in 3 months, maybe 3-4 months.
I'll see you in like,
sure.
for your next game, but I'll see you in person in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
What's in 2 weeks? What are you going?
Gamescom.
Oh,
Gamescom, mate.
I was gonna go,
and then I'm going back to the UK for a couple of days.
Oh, beautiful! That's
days.
great. Yeah, I was gonna go to Gamescom. Disappointed, I canceled that trip. But
it's a much bigger trip for you.
It's a very long, like 30 hours each way. So I was just like, but there's a lot at this Gamescom. It's big. It's looking like there's a lot of hands-on stuff. It's fun. Can't say what. A lot of it's secret, but it's a big Gamescom. I'll say that.
Exciting.
So, yeah. Cool, man. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate it. And good luck with the game.
Thank
Everyone
you.
who's watching, go check out Dead Take. When is Oasis happening, Lizzie?
Oh, September 6th, I think.
Is it going to be the best thing
I'm
you'll
gonna cry.
do this decade?
I'm going to cry. No, because I'm going to see 9 Inch Nails on Wednesday.
Oh,
Again.
what? 9 Inch Nails is going to be but you've seen them so many times, though. There's no way that another 9 Inch Nails performance is going to be more special than seeing Oasis. Come on.
But Boys Noise okay, yeah, no, actually, I could be Oasis. I mean, I think I will just be crying the whole time, and I'm going to be the only British person in the group of us who will be going. Right. So I'm just going to be an absolute mess.
They're just going to be like, play Wonderwall. I don't know any of these other songs.
No, how dare you? How dare you? No, I mean, God, Champagne Supernova is where it's going to be all over for me.
Sure.
But we've been playing other games too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Between the three of us, we did have a pretty hefty list of stuff to get through. Shall I quickly talk about Dead Take as we're just coming off the interview?
Absolutely.
With Abu. So I really enjoyed it. I beat it in 2 sittings. It was about 3.5, 4 hours all in. I really dug it. I think the thing that, and I mentioned this to Abu, is just like, I think it's a very interesting way that they used all of the things that were kind of, they were boxed in terms of how long they had to make this game, and just kind of get it out the door, like how much they had the actors for. Dana in the chat, actually, Ralph, when we were interviewing, she said they did only have them for 2 days. That was the amount of time they had to shoot with everyone. And I think they managed to do a really effective horror game and I really dug it. I think my one issue with it is that there is, in some cases, the backtracking felt a bit egregious. So of course, it takes place in this Hollywood Hills mansion, and it is the mansion of this rock star, like untouchable movie producer. And one of the characters goes missing there, and you are going to find him. However, his house also has hidden rooms. It has Resident Evil ass, like, oh, I need to find the shield key to open the shield door. There was, there's statues that I was finding missing pieces of and moving around. And so they kind of have those little touch points. Some of the time when you're backtracking through, the house feels giant and more like a liminal space.
Okay.
However, the act of actually getting around it became a little bit frustrating just because it was so big. And there's a point where there's a mechanic like splicing. So it's, I guess, the closest thing you can maybe think of in terms of something similar being maybe like immortality. Like you're not scrubbing through a piece of video, but you have one and you have another, and you can splice them together and it creates a new clip. In order to do that, you have to go to the computer in the projection room, pick your two, load it up onto the computer, go into the screening room, sit down, press play, then you can watch it. But then if you've got like 4 or something that you've got backed up, you've then got to get out of the chair, go back into the projection room, load it up, go back in. And so that, especially because there were some achievements that were tied to those, like I wanted to see the end of Sam Lake's storyline. I wanted to see the end of Laura Bailey's storyline or whatever. It was just like there was a point where I was just stuck in that bloody projection room cinema going back and forth. But I think vibe-wise, super cool. Performance-wise too, it's just really fun to see like Ben and Neil do something so different. I think the real unsung hero of that is Jane Perry. So she's Diana in Hitman. She's in Cyberpunk. I think she played Rogue. She's phenomenal in it,
right?
And she gets, I think, the most powerful, like one of the clips. And I messaged Abu and I was like, "Holy shit, Jane!" Like she was so good. Yeah, and I think overall it's just like it does not stay its welcome. It's creepy, but in a way that, talking about these people in their positions of power. I think the thing that I didn't really like, I know a lot of people who are actors and who act. And the thing that this game really drills in on is the fact of how hard it is when you are struggling to make it. Like, obviously, all the actors that I know at this point have become successful. They've been in something. And this really delves into the desperation of trying to make it. And
which is an interesting concept, because like you imagine that there are these people, other people decide their fate. You're really desperate, like the chances, it's not like just like applying for a normal job as like an accountant. It's like, oh, well, I'll apply for a different job as an accountant. Like it's a different power dynamic. It's different sort of stakes. You can imagine how that's a real playground for just bad things,
Well, and I mean, that's the thing. The other thing is the scrutiny they're under. And that's why I mentioned that I loved reading the notes, is because they're just awful. It's like, imagine, social, all of us online, you get a bunch of shitty comments every so often. But imagine someone who is the decider of your career, like an actually important person whose opinion you value. Like, obviously, a lot of our comments are lovely. Don't get me wrong. We'll talk about specifically people who are being shitty online. But just the way that they talk about the tiniest things about you, how they pick you apart, and how that must really screw with you. And the fact that every time you get any kind of opportunity, even just an audition, you have to be grateful for it, even if they're going to rip you apart. And so these are all things that the game really delves into. I really dug it. And like I said, I loved it enough to play it in a weekend.
Yeah, lovely.
So that was Dead Take.
Very nice job, Abubakar and his team. Wonder what they'll work on next. By the way, the story of this, you didn't see the interview for us, but he literally just came up with this pitch on the spot while he was pitching his publisher. He literally just pulled it straight out of his ass because they didn't like his first idea, so he just came up with a second.
And they're like, "That's great."
And they're like, "That's great." And they're like, "Do you have a pitch deck?" He's like, "Absolutely, I do."
Yeah. I'll throw it over,
guys. We need a pitch deck.
Now that's acting.
So that is exactly right.
That's funny.
Cinema. Yeah, so for me, I have been walking around my house all week saying to myself, whenever anything good happens now, I say this. Ooh, banana. we're at a point now. Edmund introduced this to our Discord. Like, we don't use the thumbs up anymore. We just use the banana emoji when something is good. Right? That's it. Donkey Kong Bonanza, my review went up on the channel last week. Also, the write up on the site. And is anyone else playing this? Is it just me?
I started it.
Okay, sure. But you've been busy. You've been traveling.
I've been very well. Also, it was during quiet time where Jen was like reading her book, and I was like, "Well, I don't want to just be like, it's not a quiet game." No. And also, I felt like I really wanted to have
for sure
Pauline and all this and everything. So I haven't. That's this week's.
Boss, do you play Nintendo games? Are you into that? I never see you cover them. So
not since the N64 on my Golden
Jesus Christ. That's interesting. Let's delve into this. Why don't you play Nintendo games? Well, tell me about this.
No particular reason. Honestly, I'm sure I would love the platform and a lot of the games, but I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of video games out there, and there's not quite enough time to play all of them.
I've been told.
No, I've just been kind of stuck on PC gaming since college, and
sure.
I'll play the occasional console exclusive, but Nintendo just hasn't. No big reason, really.
Sure. I do hear from some people, I'm not saying this is you, but other people say like, oh, Nintendo games, they're for kids, even if they're good games.
Dude, I don't,
No, I know you're not saying that, sure. I certainly a number of other people, though, they're like, kid games, I need something more adult, or, that it just doesn't appeal to me, those people, it just feels like that's such a shame to sort of categorize it that way. Yeah, it's almost like the same way that you'd write off a Pixar movie. Like, well, it's for kids. It's like, yeah, but it's also like really a lot of them, not all of them obviously, but a lot of them are really fantastic. And there's something very universal and like special in them. And I think, with Nintendo, they distilled fun. Like very few developers are able to distill fun as much as they are, and creativity and joy. And and I think Donkey Kong is just like the perfect example of that. It is such a brilliant video game. It is, it is one of the best 3D platformers ever. Full stop. It just completely tore up the rule book with regards to how you might design a game like this, how weird it can get, how incongruent so many of its aspects appear or are, but still how it manages to hang together. It's just such a fantastic video game, and you sit back at the end of it and you're like, man, you feel grateful that it exists. You feel grateful that you had the chance to play it. Very few games I think kind of hit you like that. So yeah, I mean,
all right, fine, I'll buy one.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing as well. I actually would love to hear your thoughts, because you spend so much time playing these very time draining systems driven games. Like, you spend a lot of time playing MMOs and survival games and whatever else, and I wonder how it would be very interesting to see your reaction to something like this that is so different and so finite and obviously completely different genre or whatever else. So I would love to see this is me just basically saying I want to see Force videos on Nintendo content. This is it, right? This is me lobbying.
Are you getting a commission code or something?
Yeah, that's right. Nintendo. Doug Bowser hooks me up. But no, I mean, it's just a really, and I think as well, like, I think if you speak to other people who have played this game, the back third of it is just unbelievable. It goes, as I've said in the review, it goes from being like because I spoke about this on the podcast last time, and I'm like, this is a really good game. I'm enjoying it. I thought I was at the end. I wasn't anywhere near the end. I was like halfway through the game. The back third of this game is like a straight 11 out of 10. It's absurd how good this back third is. And I think as well, people who have played this game at first are like, yeah, I'm enjoying it. But then you speak to people who have finished it, and they're like, holy fuck, bro, that was incredible. Do you remember this level? And I'm like, I remember that level, man. Of course I do. So it's one of those things where I do think you need to push through the opening chapters because again, you will enjoy them, but you'll also feel like this is familiar. This is just more sort of Nintendo 3D platformer stuff. But there is some magic at the back end, which I won't spoil, that brings this into an entirely new tier. And that is why people talk about it in the way that I'm talking about it now. It's all there in that back third. So, yeah, man, I think, I don't think you should buy a Switch 2 just to play this game. But
no, you can't walk this back now.
Well,
let's be real. I think
they just said-
I think Force should buy a Switch too, so
Okay,
I can make
okay.
videos for me, right?
That's
sorry, what were you gonna say, Luz?
I was gonna say they just said Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are coming to Switch too.
Right. Okay. I
So
reckon they'll just
I'm
bring
genuinely at the point.
all
I
of
think
them.
eventually.
Yeah, they'll bring
But
the whole
that's
thing.
the point. I'm just like, what if the Switch 2 is just my dedicated
Yakuza machine, of course.
I'm just playing the Cabaret Club mini game the whole time.
That's right. Look, so again, I don't think it's worth buying a Switch for this game. However, I do think that if you were thinking about buying a Switch, or you were decided that you were going to buy a Switch, but it's a question of when, then I think it's worth pulling the trigger right now to experience this. It's that level of good. And I think if you ever do choose to buy a Switch in the future, this is the number one purchase at this point. Obviously, there's not that many, don't get me wrong. But, it's going to be very hard to top this as a number one purchase.
Do you think over Zelda? Because I feel like that's the game that gets the...
Oh, well, I think that's obviously just a Switch, like a Switch 1 game, that you can also play. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
obviously, if you haven't yet played Zelda, for sure as well. But in terms of Switch 2 exclusives, going to be a very hard task to top this one, I think. But Nintendo, man, they don't mess about. They always find a way to, surprise and delight. They always figure it out. So, yeah. But that was it. That's me and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like I said, there's more on a full review, so I won't bore people who have already watched that. But that's me. So,
What about you? You been playing anything else?
Yeah, played a bit of Wildgate recently. Soulframe. I think I'll talk about Soulframe though, because so Soulframe is in alpha. They're going through testing periods that they refer to as preludes. It's just basically the name that they have for their testing. It's pretty ongoing testing. In fact, I believe it is like persistent 24/7. But if anyone watching hasn't heard of the game, this is basically, it's from Digital Extremes, Warframe developer, and they were like, hey, what if we made Warframe but like flipped a bunch of stuff? So if you think of Warframe is like sci-fi, space ninja, very fast, crazy, over the top movement, like sprinting through levels, blowing up hordes of enemies. And for Soulframe, they're going fantasy, slower pacing, more focus on melee. You're not burning through waves of enemies, and you're certainly not moving at crazy high speeds. They've kind of reined that all back. It's also got this through line of it's kind of a connection to nature and animals. That's like a big theme in this. I feel like I always don't know the pronunciation. Is it Princess Mononoke or Mononoke?
Yeah.
But that's a huge inspiration for this. And the general premise is like bad creatures came in, they're polluting the environment, they're taking over and possessing the animals, and you need to go cleanse. They literally have things that look like oil wells, and you have to go, like, you shoot out their eyes, they explode, and then the water clears from oily to clear.
Okay.
And there's animals you'll find, like baby deer and bunnies and stuff. They're in cages and they're being guarded by these enemy. I think they're called the Sinecures, is the name of the enemy faction in the game, and you'll go over and you'll kill them, and then you scoot down and you open the cage, and the animals are so happy they jump up in your arms and you pet them, and then they go back to your damn house. But so the format of the game is really interesting. I don't know where they're going to go in the long run, but right now in the Preludes testing, it's one open environment. There's the top landscape where you'll be going around, and there's different points of interest. So there's camps and castles and things, and the Sinecure enemies are in there, and they'll have random events that'll pop up. Kind of, I guess, think of it like Destiny patrols or something. You'll go along and an event will pop up, and they have like different gradations where there'll be like short ones and longer ones. They'll take you, like, do one activity here, like go kill these enemies, take care of that patrol, go clear these oil wells, go rescue these animals, and then sometimes they end in a boss. But top landscape, points of interest, you're doing all these things. It's action combat with some magic stuff. You pick classes and the play to. It's basically mostly like nature based right now. Like, one class has you turning into a wolf and summoning a wolf pup. But there's another one where you call in a flock of ravens that pluck the enemies, and then you can turn them to stone. And it's just cool as hell, dude. Honestly, there's so much character in this game. Like the voice acting and the personalities of these characters. You're black. Okay, so you rescue this blacksmith lady, and she's there. You've got this little, like, it's called the Nightfold, and this is another really cool thing. I really can't stop gushing about this game. It's not even a fraction complete. But so when you go to camp, what you do is your character does like a trust fall back, and then it fades, and you're instantly in your camp. And then you've got the NPCs that you've rescued there. And then to go back to the game, you trust fall back out of it, and then you're instantly back in the game where you were before.
Yeah, right.
It's just completely fluid transition. There's 0 loading screens. But what I was saying was the personality. So there's a blacksmithy rescue, and she is just like omega depressed. Like she's got no confidence whatsoever. And every time you bring her an item, she's like, all right, it's going to be shit, but I'll do this for you. And evidently, they only give hints at it now, but evidently, as you raise your reputation with her, she gets more and more confident in her capabilities.
That's cool.
And I don't know, dude, you just got to check it out. Try to get into the Preludes testing if you're even vaguely interested in anything Digital Extremes has done, because already with but a fraction of the game that exists right now, like I can tell I'm going to like this more than Warframe, and I quite like Warframe.
Right.
They also do some procedural stuff. So besides the top level stuff that you do, there are underground dungeons, and they do the whole, like, they have however many tiles of rooms and halls, and every time you go in, it'll be a different configuration of those. So they have some randomness every time you run a dungeon in terms of, it's kind of like Wayfinder, actually, what they did with their dungeon system. If you ever, I think Austin checked it out, but
yeah, he
if
did.
you ever did as well.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's really, really cool. Yeah.
I remember seeing the initial gameplay reveal and looking at like animations and stuff, being like, whoa, that doesn't look good at all. What's going on there? So have they addressed some of that? Like, is it, in terms of the actual combat feel, like, is it there?
Yeah, so it was definitely, I know what you're talking about. That early gameplay trailer from, I think it was last year, got panned. And I remember even looking at it and thinking to myself, like, this needs a lot of work. And they've definitely made strides in improving kind of the gameplay feel. It's not definitely not as weighty or visceral feeling as like a Souls game, or it doesn't feel like God of War combat. Combat doesn't quite have that punch to it. It still has an element of floaty feel. Like if you spent much or any time with Warframe, that is one of the big things that kind of feels like your character's skating on ice.
Absolutely.
Like that you don't really feel connected to the ground.
For sure.
They've reined that in a little bit, but I won't deny that it's definitely got a little bit of like stiff animations for sure.
Yeah,
because they're running on the same.
They're
like cross-pollinating these two games. Like they're taking tech and learnings from Warframe and bringing to Soulframe, and then back in reverse as well.
Yeah. I think it's most of the senior leadership of Warframe moved over to this game, if I'm not mistaken. Not all of them, but like a lot of them. And I think they spent a lot of time making that game, and they were just ready for a new challenge. And they were ready. It makes sense that this is an inversion of that, because they were like, well, we spent so many years doing that thing. We're bored of that creatively, in the sense that, like, you know, you can't make the same thing forever and not get bored of it, right? And they obviously just wanted to try and do the opposite of that. And so, I've always been very interested in this as a premise. I actually really like the Princess Mononoke inspired setting as well. That really speaks to me.
Oh, it's awesome. It's so endearing. Beautiful. There's so many cute animals and personalities. There's this little faction of like sproutlings. They kind of look like turtles, but they're plants. And they're constantly sniffling and sneezing. I don't know why, because of the pollen or something, but there's just like, honestly, even if you just spend an afternoon just like getting to hear the voice acting and the characters, so many of them are adorable. Like, it's really good stuff.
Makes sense, because for Digital Extremes to do this kind of game, because visually their approach to sci-fi design is very controversial, or how would I say it? It's like they have a very organic approach to sci-fi design, where like it looks like organic matter that just happens to be metal, and it can be quite bulbous and weird looking, and it seems an ill fit for sci-fi, which is very used to much cleaner lines and sort of like angled shapes and whatever. Them making this type of game that's grounded in nature feels like, okay, cool. This is where your artists are really going to be able to shine, because nature is bulbous and weird and misshapen and
fleshy.
Asymmetrical, and fleshy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it kind of, and for that reason, from the minute I looked at it, I'm like, okay, this is a great fit. So okay, so it's a Preludes. So I'm in the Preludes program right now, but I haven't booted it up yet. But so it's still invite only for Preludes.
Yeah, they had a brief window during TennoCon, which was just the other weekend, where if anyone requested, they automatically got in. But it's still invite only. They're still in alpha. I don't even know if they're intending an early access launch this year or not. But I think if people try to get in, like, good chance you'll eventually get an invite.
Okay. And how much content is there now? Like
30 to 40 hours roughly, I would say. And I should say, like, the beyond everything that I've mentioned, the like structure of the game, like the progression systems, it's basically Warframe.
Okay.
So you're collecting resources, you're building the classes, which are basically this game's version of frames.
Yes.
You're constructing weapons. Both of those things have build timers. The game is going to be free to play.
Are they mods?
I expect,
is it mods?
So they don't have it yet, but there will be.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, right.
So they're basically those systems, I believe, will be fairly identical to what they do with Warframe. I mean, they've made a lot of money off of Warframe, and they're
still
looking
making
to
money
repeat
off
that
Warframe.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Right. It sounds really cool. I'm very interested to check it out at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, even I would suggest, even if people just play it for an afternoon or two and they don't plan on sticking around, there's just like a lot endearing about it that I've enjoyed.
Cool.
So yeah, totally.
Well, I reckon that's pretty much. Unless there's anything else you want to cover.
I got one more.
Oh no, that's right. I do want to hear about this actually. Yeah, right. Go on. We knew it would be bad. We knew this was coming. There were no surprises.
Tales of the Shire.
Oh no, this is bad news.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings can't catch a break, huh? Oh man.
How much have you played?
Well, Ralph, thanks to the hard crashes that I kept getting.
God.
I played all in like maybe 7 or so hours.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm still in summer. I was like, I want to at least get to another season, but then I reached a quest that I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think it's mixed to mostly positive on Steam, which I find kind of baffling. I think.
What is this game, by the way, just in case anyone doesn't know?
Tales of the Shire, the Lord of the Rings game.
I know, right? What the hell? Was that necessary?
Well, so this is my thesis about it. So I'll get to that in a second. It is a cozy game. It is a farming sim game, kind of Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing-y, Stardew, Fields of Mistria, in Hobbiton, in the village of Bywater. The whole conceit of the game is that the hobbits who live there disagree whether Bywater is a village or not, and so they have to do certain tasks, build friendship levels, grow the place into so it is deserving of the name village. And by doing that, you are a hobbit who's just moved there from Bree. You have to befriend the hobbits. You can grow your own food, decorate your hobbit hole, and use the food that you've grown and materials that you've collected to cook with the other hobbits, and that increases your relationship with them. Be good if anything like came of that, by the way. Like, there's no events. You can't go to the Green Dragon and have a pint or do anything. Like, the hobbits themselves have so little dialogue when you're walking around to interact with them. My biggest gripe with this game, and again, like, apologies if you watched the GameSpot video because I kind of said the same thing, is that when you boot up Stardew Valley, you are given your plot of land by your granddad, and you look at it and you put your hands on your hips and you go, whew, well, I'm not going to get all that done in a day. But you start, right? You have your plot of land and you try and clear it. You clear rocks, you clear trees, you collect stuff, you start planting things. But the whole thing is that you can never get it all done in one day. You're always feeling you're up against the clock, and it means that you just want to go to bed because you want to be fresh as a daisy the next day to start over again. Every single day in Tales of the Shire, I ran out of things to do by mid-morning lunchtime.
It's like working a government job.
After second breakfast. So there were points where foraging, fishing, that's only so interesting because I think there's only, at least at the very beginning, there are certain things I believe you have to do to unlock kind of new areas. There are only 2 places to fish. There's only 2 places to fish, and it's basically the same 4 fish that you get over and over again.
Right.
growing vegetables, I think, is like a really interesting little system, because if you put some different crops next to each other, they'll either complement and make them both grow together, or one of them will be like, "Ooh, no," and then you'll get like a no-star vegetable that you then use in your food. The Hobbits, like I said, there's nothing. There's no quests. I was running around like there's nothing. And then you have to wait until the next day for so you can invite them over for a meal.
Yeah.
But it's overnight, so you just have to wait until overnight.
Right.
You have to wait overnight for shops to restock, for your vegetables to grow.
Got it.
For foraging to kind of like respawn. And then, like I said, I was just running out of things to do. There's no point. I mean, you can decorate your hobbit hole, but like no one comments on it. There's nothing tied to it. And it also, like, on top of the hard crashes, it just chugged. When I was when I was going into the center of Bywater, just the frame rate would just shit the bed. And this is a game, min specs is pretty good, and I was running it on a 4090. So and apparently the Switch
game looks really bad, by the way, visually. It just looks bad.
The Switch 2 version, is apparently much worse in terms of performance. And so the thing that gets me, and like I said, to bring it back around with that title, is I think this is just what Lord of the Rings fans get now. They get things that are too preoccupied with making sure that Middle-earth Enterprises is happy with how the name looks, or that the hobbits speak correctly, or that the correct vegetation appears in the Shire, than making something that's actually interesting and fun and befitting of Tolkien and Middle-earth. And that sucks. And I also feel like it's a huge shame for Weta, because Weta, there was a really good report. I encourage you to read it. It is on The Verge. It's by Jackson Ryan. And it's about the struggles that this game went through. So, like, on top of losing Private Division as a publisher, on top of layoffs last year just after the preview beat, on top of a bunch of different ideas that just never came together, on top of apparently mismanagement and crunch. And that's the thing, I don't like shitting on things. I really don't. I am just, like, disappointed in how this has always been, like, and how this has come together.
Sure.
And it's just, it's just such a miss, and it's a real shame. And especially because there's so much more renewed interest in Lord of the Rings. For some godforsaken reason or another, we're getting the Aragorn movie, we're getting the Hunt for Gollum, we had the game Gollum, Rings of Power is Rings of Powering.
God, it's
War
so
of the
bad.
Rohirrim wasn't like it.
Yeah.
Even the Hobbit wasn't it, like the movies. And so it's just,
they got an MMO coming too.
There's only been two good. No, that's not true. There was obviously the original movies. There was the games, the old EA games, which were fantastic, and there was some strategy stuff attached to that.
Battle for Middle Earth.
Yeah, the modern what's the most recent good Lord of the Rings thing we've got?
The Shadow of Mordor games.
Shadow of Mordor games.
No, but I would argue Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, up until maybe the halfway point, and they didn't know how to end it, so they just made you do those endless fortress assaults because there was no like end game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They just were like, what if you just keep doing this? But the idea, like what they did with that game was
that first Shadow game was phenomenal.
Oh, it was awesome.
The idea of a cozy Hobbit game is such an easy slam dunk. It is free money, man. Like honestly, you really don't even need to.
Is there like zero world interaction? Is there like you can't like walk up and open the mailbox and be like, oh, no mail today? Like, is there?
You can open your mailbox, but like I said, it's every morning. You can't just go up and and like this other thing, I felt like I just felt really bad. So when the hobbits say that they want to come over, so you invite them. Say I invite them on a Tuesday, they come over on the Wednesday. They send you a letter on the Wednesday morning to tell you what they're craving, so that you can cook appropriately for the hobbits.
Got it.
Basically, every time I opened one of those letters, it had the file name for the image that was supposed to be slapped on the letter instead of the actual, like, this person wants a sour meal. It would be terrible. Like Lily Cotton _sour. Like, I don't know. It's such a shame. And that's the thing. I am baffled by the Steam reception, but at the same time, because I mean, like GameSpot and IGN like both gave it a 4. I know a bunch of other places did not gel with it, and so I hope it finds its audience. I really do. I hope that Weta are given the ability to make changes and improvements, because I think there are some things in there, like the bone, like some of the bones are like, you can see that it would work and it would be good. It's just the stuff around it that doesn't coalesce in a very good way. So and also I played that instead of playing the new Fields of Mystery update.
Oh, okay.
And now
you were into that.
I get to I think Fields of Mystery is great, and I'm that's what I'm going to treat myself with. That and Dishonored. I was watching some old GDQ runs, and I was like, man, I want to play Dishonored again. So.
Very nice. All right,
that's what we've been playing.
Yeah,
we've been playing a lot.
I think that's good time to transition. We've had a long show with all our stuff. We've had it's quite a run. It was quite a run time at this point, so we should wrap it up quickly. I reckon.
So let's hop into show and tell, which is something we've been doing that is not a video game. Ralph,
I can go first. Okay, I want to
talk
back
at the movies.
I have. I want to talk about Fantastic Four, but I want to talk about that with Jake. So I'm going to wait till he's back.
Okay, that's fine. Okay,
because Jake is our like resident comic book nerd, so that works well. Yes. Last night,
I'm gonna go see Naked Gun.
Oh, I'm so excited! Have you seen the clips of Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson just being a couple?
It makes me believe in love again.
It is the best shit I've ever seen in my entire life. If they they must be protected. It's the best.
When she asks him, "What's the best thing you've ever done in your career?" and he just goes, "Working with you." I was like, "Oh, fuck off."
Get fucked, mate. Like, come on.
Yeah,
now.
I was like, "Oh, shut up." Anyway, sorry.
So last night though, with my friend who I watch terrible movies with, we watched Fast and the Furious. 1 and 2. And let me tell you,
it's a Oasis in here.
Bro, I didn't maybe we were laughing during that line. I don't know. But I remember during
I think it's in 2.
Okay, right. In number 1, they had like a romantic quiet scene. Like there was like the Paul Walker was still speaking to Mia or whatever. And then the soundtrack seamlessly transitions to I've Got Hose. That was the backing track while they were having this little intimate moment, Honestly, though, Fast and Furious 1, 10 out of 10 film, absolutely flawless, unbelievable how good it is and how well it's held up. Like, it's obviously a relic of its time, but oh my God, what a fucking movie. Completely bowled over by it. Like, just because I don't think I'd actually seen it since I saw it in the cinemas all those years ago. Like, that long. So I had no idea what I was in for, and incredible. Then I watched 2, and oh my God, what a fucking disaster of a movie. I didn't even know Vin Diesel wasn't in number 2. I was like, what do you mean he's not in number 2?
Oh shit. Wait, are you doing all of them?
Yes, we're gonna do all of them. Because I think I've only ever seen 1 all those years ago. I never watched any sequels because I was like never into cars or whatever, and it just didn't interest me, right? But
I need to see if I can find it. I watched all of them in 2021.
Okay.
And I had like a ranking system. I did the whole thing.
Okay.
I was really into it.
Do they ever get better than 1?
Dude, there's a moment in, I think it's 8.
Okay.
Right. Where I was watching it with my friend, and he was like filming me because he was like
ready. Yeah, right.
Reaction.
Sure.
The reaction. Because there's some shit that is just really great. I think 2 is bad.
Oh, so
I didn't love Tokyo Drift as much as a lot of other people.
Right.
And then 4, 5 onwards is when they start getting like insane.
Okay. They're in 2. There's this like Japanese girl who's like a racer or whatever, and she's just always like standing there wearing next to no clothing, and like they just seem to acknowledge. Like very often, the scene will start and they'll arrive, and then the actors will be like, "Oh, hello, Suki," or whatever your name is, and like shake her hand and give her a kiss or something, and then she'd have no other lines in the scene, and it's like, what is this character? Turns out her dad founded Benihana. So we're pretty sure she was just like a Nepo insert or whatever. And they just like needed to give her some screen time during various scenes, even though she had nothing else to say. But man, it was a terrible film, especially as a chaser after 1, which was absolute cinematic perfection. Like it cannot possibly be improved. So
Can I also recommend that you watch the Need for Speed movie and Talk?
Oh, okay. I don't even know what Talk is.
Talk is by the guy who directed, brace yourselves, the Britney Spears Toxic music video.
Hell yeah. Okay.
And it stars that guy.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just like of that time, very much riffing on like we have Fast and Furious at home.
Yep. There you go. So
they
that
shot
was it.
their shot.
Fast and the Furious Part 1 and 2.
That.
How about you, Foss? What have you been? Any real life stuff? Any non-video game stuff going on for you?
Just the boards.
Just the
me
boards.
on the waves.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I try to get out a few mornings. A week. It's just a nice way to start the day.
Are you one of those up at 5 guys?
I am now. I'm an old man. I'm nearing 40 here.
Yeah,
so
right. Sure.
I'm getting up there. Yeah.
So are you like in your wetsuit and you're waxing your board and doing all that stuff and talking to all the other people out there at that time? Hey, waves are good today, aren't they? Yeah. You're like one of them. Is that you?
Pretty much, yeah. No, it's a really fun time, honestly. It's actually just a fairly recent hobby. Like I've started the past couple of years.
That's good.
When I was younger, I used to skateboard and snowboard and do all that, but a couple of years ago, my wife's like, "You probably like surfing." I was like, "All right, I'll try it." And then like instantly, I was like, "I'm going every day. I'm buying my wetsuit today. Get me my board."
How far is the beach from you?
Not too far. It's like a 15-minute drive.
That's good.
So usually try to get up. Sunrise this time of year is like feels like it's 5:30. I don't think it's technically 5:30, but the lights out at 5:30 and birds wake me up. I go out. Hit the waves.
Wake you up
just
like a fucking Disney character.
It was either that's either real life or Soul Frame. I don't remember which one.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But no, that's my non-gaming hobby that I enjoy. Yeah. That and learning German. So.
All right. Are you?
Ausgezeichnet.
Oh God, here we go.
Ich spreche nur ein bisschen Deutsch.
Ja.
Kommst du aus Deutschland? Nein.
Ich habe I will be there in 2 weeks. Ich habe Deutsch als 6 Jahren gelernt. That was like baby German.
Ich auch, about 6 years. I was actually born in Germany, but I didn't. I was raised in the States, and my mom had me when she was a baby. She was like 17, and she was learning English while she was living and raising her kids. So we didn't learn German when I was a baby, but. Yeah. Now I'm older and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'd like to speak with my Oma and Opa. That'd be cool. So I've been learning German over the past few years as another little side activity. So
that's nice.
I love German. Like I studied it a lot at school, and then I go to Gamescom every year, and I am everyone's favorite person, except everyone in Germany speaks perfect English.
Exactly.
Except they're like, Lucy, go to the bar for us. Here's the order. How do I get home? Can you give me directions? I also I ended up on a weird part of TikTok where I'm learning about things like tax evasion, but all in German.
Oh, fun.
But it's weird because the way German language structure works and like the shared kind of the Latin base, it's like I understand way too much about money laundering from this German explanation than I kind of should.
That's really funny. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much me. I mean, yeah.
Nice.
I just read a book that I loved named. Okay, so it's one of those words that I've pulled at the pronunciation because I just looked at it and I was like, I don't know how to pronounce that. Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, and it is a really beautiful fantasy, I guess, sort of in a way, science fiction book about a man named Piranesi who lives in this never-ending halls. There's 3 layers, and the top layer is the sky, middle layer is kind of like ground, and then the bottom layer is deep water. But occasionally there'll be these waves that kind of pass over into the main halls. And so Piranesi sees himself as this kind of explorer / scientist / researcher. So he goes and he tracks all of the waves. There are skeletons around, and so he goes and pays respects and talks to them, and he goes fishing, and he basically is kind of like the caretaker in a way, but also exploring what this place is. And he has this other person who he meets, and this other person thinks there is a grand secret, like a forbidden knowledge that they can only figure out from understanding this place that they live in. It is such a difficult book to summarize in anything shorter than that. Okay. However, I think it was really beautiful. I read it in 3 days.
Oh wow!
Like I just absolutely blasted through it.
How many pages is it? How was that?
That's like 300. Okay, but that was during the work week.
Sure.
It's just like
just moving your mouse. And make sure you're still online.
Yeah. And then I picked up her other book, which was her first novel. an 800-page beast called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, and I'm about 200 pages into that. And that is another really wonderfully written book that I am loving. And so it just kind of feels nice to, I don't know, I kind of struggle with reading because I'll go through phases where I'm just like, I really want to get back into reading, but I don't know what. And then if I feel as if I'm investing in my time and I bought the book and it's not grabbing me, I kind of get really dissuaded by it. And so I'm really glad that I found this author that I'm really enjoying. What's that?
I really wish I had more motivation to read. I'm busy, and then when I do have downtime, I just, I'm usually watching a movie or playing a game or just like playing Marvel Snap on my phone. I'll go to bed, I'm like, I'm going to read on my Kindle tonight, and then I just like grab my phone and I just play Marvel Snap. I'm such a fucking degenerate. It's so bad. It's terrible.
No, I mean, honestly, I've had to carve out.
I've
had to carve out for my routine for it, and so I have a guest room, and there are no screens in there. I overlook like the tree in the garden, which is lovely.
Your reading
and
room.
So it's my reading room. Like on a Saturday and Sunday morning, I wake up, I make a cup of tea, and I take it in the back room, and I just read my book for a little bit. And then that is kind of, because it's part of a routine now, it's making me kind of stick with it.
Of course. That's so cool, though.
So yeah,
Respect.
I'm excited for that tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, it helps. I think it helps to ritualize it a bit like that. I think especially with like these online jobs, there's always something else you could be doing.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to like commit yourself to sit down for even 20 minutes to read because you're like, well, there's that. I got to do that. And no, I got to write this down so I don't forget it. And I should email them back. And it's like, you just got to force it. You have to force the issue.
Yeah.
Well
That's
said,
how
Force.
it works for me anyways. Yeah, thanks.
Hey, and on that comedic genius, it's probably time to wrap the episode.
I was going to say, I think that about does it. Force, thank you so much for being on with us. This was lovely.
Thanks for having me.
No, man, I think it was really great finally chatting with you after all these years, and I look forward to your extensive Nintendo coverage now that
the pivot to being a Nintendo channel.
That's right, and I hope your comment section watches this and holds you to account on that.
Oh man, yeah.
Where can the people find you?
Force Gaming on YouTube. That should bring me up, and I've been doing some streaming on Twitch as well. Sporadically, but here and there when I'm playing games. But mostly on YouTube. You'll see me there.
Awesome.
And Ralph, people can find you here.
Chill up. You can find me right here, baby. Right here, right now. And also thisweekinvideogames.com. Website is live. It's going well. Very happy with all the support we've been getting.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. And we've actually just signed another columnist, which I'm very excited to talk about, but I can't share the details yet.
How could you?
So we're pumped for that, and lots of plans into Gamescom as well. I'm not going to be there, but our reporter Maddie Agnew will be. He has got some extremely cool bookings lined up, so we'll have some great coverage coming out of there. And other than that, life on the channel continues. I'm gonna do Destiny. We're gonna check out Mafia when that drops. And Metal Gear's this month as well. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta.
Playing Gears of War?
You mean the... Oh, wait, am I disconnecting now?
The remake, the second remake?
Yeah, I don't want to play that again. I've played it enough.
All right.
No, I'll wait until E-Day, so...
fair.
And I think that's... Oh, Sword in the Sea is my big one for this month. That one is
that looks cool
on my list. Love it. Played it at Summer Games. Absolutely fantastic. And I think we can say... I don't think they'd mind me saying that we've got the studio head coming over to the podcast next episode. I don't know if I've actually told you that yet, Lucy.
I was going to say it. I was like, do we?
Yeah, we do. So
that sounds awesome.
I'm excited. Matt, his name's Matt. I forget his last name. Matt something. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of his work, and I love playing his game. The preview of it, reached out, and so they're coming on board. So yeah, look forward to that next episode.
Awesome. And yeah, you can find me Lucy James Games everywhere, and then day job is GameSpot, so you can see Battlefield stuff on there, Cronos stuff on there.
Lovely.
And then I'll be at Gamescom too, so I'm excited to meet Maddie in person.
They'd be fantastic. I'm sure she'd love that.
Yeah. All right. Oh wait, we don't have Jake. How the hell are we going to end the show?
Force, you need to say something that I'm going to type to you in the Discord, and then you need to read it cold to camera. Okay, this is it. Let me just get this. It's very important.
I think Are you the first person who hasn't been Jake to say these?
Yeah, that's right. But
lines?
let's try it on. There we go. Give it to us, boss.
Okay.
Tie your shoes and go to bed.
Nailed it.
Rushed it. You have to come back.
Yeah.
Will do.